as part of the deal to remain in the nuclear pact. For most nations, this will likely depend chiefly on the economic cost of ending Iran trade compared to what the U.S. might do to them. So long as the nuclear deal remains in place, any U.S. attempt to punish other countries will likely lead to backlash and limit the U.S. ability to isolate anyone.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports the Supreme Court narrowly ruled Tuesday to uphold President Donald Trump's travel ban on migrants and refugees from several Muslim-majority countries. In a 5-4 decision along partisan lines, the justices reversed a series of lower court decisions that struck down the ban as illegal, giving the White House its first high court victory on the merits of a presidential initiative. Trump tweeted, "Supreme Court upholds Trump travel ban. Wow." Trump also tweeted, "In this era of worldwide terrorism and extremist movements bent on harming innocent civilians, we must properly vet those coming into our country. This ruling is also a moment of profound vindication following months of hysterical commentary from the media and Democratic politicians who refuse to do what it takes to secure our border and our country. More than 150 million people in Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen are affected by the ruling." Chad, also a Muslim-majority nation, was removed from the list in April. North Korea and Venezuela, while part of the executive order, are not part of the legal battle. Chief Justice John Roberts argued that the president has ample power to impose entry restrictions and insists the ban was within the scope of Trump's power. He also rejected claims that it has an anti-Muslim bias. Roberts wrote for the majority, "The text says nothing about religion." Plaintiffs in the dissent nonetheless emphasized that 5 of the 7 nations currently included in the proclamation have Muslim-majority populations, adding, "Yet that fact alone does not support an inference of religious hostility, given that the policy covers just 8% of the world's Muslim population and is limited to countries that were previously designated by Congress or prior administrations as posing national security risks." Roberts was joined in the majority by Justices Anthony Kennedy, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch. Justice Sonia Sotomayor quoted Trump's own words in her dissent, saying his travel ban is merely a version of the Muslim ban he proposed during the campaign. Sotomayor wrote, "The court's decision leaves undisturbed a policy first advertised openly and unequivocally as a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States, because the policy now masquerades behind a facade of national security concerns," adding, "But this repackaging does little to cleanse a presidential proclamation of the appearance of discrimination that the president's words have created. A reasonable observer would conclude that the proclamation was motivated by anti-Muslim animus." Joined by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in her dissent, Sotomayor said the panel's conservative justices ignored the facts, misconstrued legal precedent, and turned a blind eye to the pain and suffering that the ruling puts on countless families and individuals, many of whom are United States citizens. Justices Stephen Breyer and Elena Kagan were the court's 2 other dissenters. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
If he looks different than the other students on this college campus, it's because he's only 13 years old. But the amazing young Tyler is already consuming alcohol on the level of someone twice his age, and his talents have gotten him accepted at Ohio State University. We are lucky to be joined today by the little prodigy himself, along with Tyler's parents, Jack and Christine. Good morning, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Tyler, most kids your age are in middle school and probably think that alcohol doesn't taste good, but not you.
Yeah, I like to drink liquor or beer or whatever. There's way more beer at college than at my house.
I'll bet there is. Your professors and classmates, everyone there at OSU says you just fit right in. You must have a lot of new friends.
Yeah, I'm just like everybody else. I go to class, I show up wasted, I leave early.
Wow.
So many impressive moments. You're active in a fraternity, you've streaked at 4 baseball games, you've broken an arm falling off a house, you've even made the wall of shame at O'Hooligans.
That night was stupid crazy.
That was a special day.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're doing a Topless Wednesday here in the studio. At least two-thirds of us are doing so. Darryl, you're not participating?
No.
Topless Wednesdays?
Someone needs to call in tomorrow on Thursday and try to get Topless Thursdays as well. I think that would
there's a woman here.
That get you a lot of cam views.
I'm pretty sure it would actually get us banned from Twitch and YouTube if we did that.
She would not participate.
No, there's no way she would do that. She's way too conservative. You're talking about Heather, your Thursday night co-host. Although I heard a rumor that you might be getting a different co-host in on a Thursday night at some point in the future. I don't know if that's been nailed down yet, but
nothing has been confirmed, and it would be like a once a month sort of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm hoping that happens. So you'll keep us in the loop when that develops. All right. So it's Ian, Conan, and Darryl in the studio here tonight. Conan, you work for the post office.
I do. I'm back with the post office. I took a 20-year hiatus.
Okay.
And then I came back and just doing part-time. I can't work like some of these fools can, 6 days a week. I don't know how they do it.
Well, you could if you wanted to.
I think that the Men in Black had it right that not all mailmen are aliens, but an awful lot of them. I don't know if you remember that.
It's been 20 years since I've seen that movie, probably when it came out in theaters.
But yeah, whatever. I love just working Saturdays and Sundays, and I hate to see anything happen to a place that I love working at, and they have financial problems.
Well, the post office is something we've been covering for years on Free Talk Live. The financial problems, of course, seem to stem from the fact that they're essentially a government monopoly on first-class mail, meaning that no one else can compete legally with the post office. The FedEx and UPS can compete on package delivery on products or mail over $1 in value, as I understand it. And this goes all the way back to the days of Lysander Spooner in the late 1800s.
I don't know if the value has anything to do with it. It's regulated by, there's first class mail, second class, third class. Third class are packages. I forget what second class mail is, but the post office has a government granted monopoly on first class mail, which is letters.
Well, maybe
which is in huge decline. Which is
because of the internet, partially.
Exactly.
Partially.
Digital mail is the way these days. And
but I can send a letter, just to be clear, through FedEx and through UPS. I just have to pay for their regular rates.
You would pay for
what's called a flat.
You would pay for what it's actually worth. So right now you're paying, 51 cents to send a letter anywhere in the U.S., and that is hugely subsidized.
It's subsidized.
So they might have a monopoly on this, but at the same time, they're forced to do this, and they're forced to be open 6 days or 5 days a week. And I work Sundays, by the way.
And they can't change their rates without an act of Congress.
They can't do anything without an act of Congress, basically.
Well,
they can't change the days. They can't change the rates. They can't change their business model. They can't really. They have to go to Congress to ask them for permission to change how they do their business.
And there's one other huge issue, and that is their pre-funding of their pension system.
Yes,
that a lot of people don't know about.
Issue.
I've been looking into it all day, trying to figure out how much money is in there, how much they've put aside. I know that Congress forced them back in, I think, 2007 to spend 10 years pre-funding their pension program, which is part of the reason why they are in debt. However, I found out today, because you talk to anybody that I work for, the clerks, the postmaster, everybody, they're like, yeah, we're in the red because we have to put so much billions of dollars into this pre-fund every year. Guess what? They haven't put anything in it since 2012. So last year, when they were almost $3 billion short, they can't blame it on the fact that they've been putting money aside, because they haven't. So anyways,
it's a fiasco.
This story comes from the Wall Street Journal. It was posted on the 22nd.
Before you get into that, I heard somewhere, Darryl, that one of the things that defines their monopoly on first-class mail is a $1 maximum, meaning that in theory, FedEx and UPS could compete in the delivery of first-class mail, meaning letter delivery, once it goes above $1. That's what I heard. So I don't remember where, though.
I do not think they would ever do such a thing unless they had hubs where they could deliver to. They're not going to do what I do. They're not going to go out to the boondocks to some trailer on the end of the road
for 50 cents.
And not even that, for some a penny junk mail.
Right.
And I'm not supposed to say junk mail, by the way. That's taboo. But I'm going.
What's the industry term? What's the term, like the jargon that you...
My paycheck. But yeah, I deliver an awful lot of bull crap.
A lot of junk.
And I think that if I saw the numbers correctly, it's less than 10% that are actually personal correspondences that are actually delivered.
Oh wow!
And then most of it's junk, and then an awful lot of it every single year it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's the parcel delivery. We were becoming a parcel delivery system.
Right, and that's why you're working on Sundays, because Amazon had some kind of contract.
That is all I do on Sundays is Amazon. I don't deliver anyone else's packages, just Amazon. And by the way, as far as FedEx and UPS is concerned, it's not worth it to them to hit that trailer on the end of the dirt road. They actually pay us to deliver their packages that they don't want to travel to, and it makes a lot of sense financially for them.
I have seen stuff where like I'll do a tracking and it will show that something either went from the post office to UPS or vice versa, and it's like, wait, that doesn't really make any sense. But at the end of the day, it kind of does. Hey, I realize we're competing, but at the same time, you're sending a guy out there
anyways. You might as well. I mean, it makes sense. It's like carpooling.
All right, so what's the news? Trump has been talking about privatization.
His administration, in this article, is going after it. But I know that I've heard him on the stump actually talking about the deals that he says we're losing money from Amazon. The way I see it, Amazon is helping us keeping us afloat.
Really?
In fact, if anything, I think that it would be probably financially a financial gain if Amazon was to actually, if we were to go private,
just be bought by Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm serious. They wouldn't be delivering junk mail and little personal correspondences. I mean, and we would raise the rates, of course.
Enough. Yeah, if you pay them enough, they'll do it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Hold on. How is the post office going to be able to afford to buy Amazon?
No,
Amazon, other way around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you said when the post office goes private, they buy Amazon.
And by the way, these are both my daddies. Post office and Amazon. That's who I work for.
Oh, I see.
So, I mean,
you sell books on Amazon.
It wouldn't bother me. I'm working for the same two clowns.
Gotcha.
So this came out last week, Wall Street Journal article, Jennifer Smith. The Trump administration is proposing to restructure the U.S. Postal Service with an eye to taking it private, a step it said would cut costs and give the financially burdened agency greater flexibility in adjusting to the digital age.
It could.
It would, of course.
I don't know what the exact plan is. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
If rates were to go up, which they would need to be, to actually make sense, even more people would move digital.
Sure. It would give them the incentive to do that.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And then, of course, as all the elderly folks, begin to pass away, nobody will ever send another letter to anybody unless they want to be quaint.
Yeah, the only letters that would be continued to be sent were things like certifieds from the government, from the water company.
Dumb old government things, right.
The recommendation is part of a sweeping plan to reorganize and trim the size of the federal government. The broader plan, which would require congressional approval, drew mixed responses on Capitol Hill after it was released on Thursday.
Well, of course.
Yes, of course. And the union doesn't like it either, which I am not a part of, by the way.
The
Postal Union? The proposed post reforms...
Which, by the way, must be a very strong union, right?
Yes.
Because the post office has...
600,000 employees.
Right. They've got as many as the Army.
It's more than Walmart.
Right? But more than the Army, even, as I understand it.
Yeah, it's a very, very... But I think they only have 200,000 of those 600,000 that are actually part of the union, which I was surprised to hear.
Still, that's humongous.
Hold on. So how are you not forced to be part of the union?
Part-timer.
I'm a part-timer.
Okay.
And I'm not city. Rural carriers don't have to sign in, and I don't think I don't think cities have to sign in either. And by the way, there was something that came out today about Supreme Court decided that
there was some kind of court case about public sector
unions. You don't have this. You are not forced to sign into that.
Really?
Yep.
All right, so we got more coming up here. We'll talk more about whatever this plan is that Trump has to privatize.
It's the best plan.
It may be.
It is huge.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it yet, so we'll find out more of what it includes. And Conan actually works for the post office. We'll get your thoughts. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. But will they be able to get it past the union? 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here. This is Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Free Talk Live.
The way I do psychic readings is a little bit different. I read the veins of your penis, and I could tell your future.
That is a new one.
Is this a hands-on procedure?
Yeah. Well, what
does it come with a happy ending?
No, guys, I'm a businessman. Right? I'm very professional. I'll tell you why I think he arrested me. I told him, I said, I can see right here that your life's going to be very short. He got upset and arrested me.
So he thought that you were making a comment about his size.
Yeah,
that's what
the size of his. Yeah. Look here, I'm only interested in the veins, and I'm very professional.
Now, where did you learn this technique?
Oh, my dad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Yeah, it's Free Talk Live, and you can join us right here, toll-free. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Donald Trump, apparently putting forward a proposal to privatize the U.S. Postal Service. We're going to get into that here, Conan, because you actually work for them, so you're kind of a man on the inside.
And deliver thousands of packages a year through them.
How long have you been back there? A year now?
Since November.
So not quite a year, half a year, more than half a year. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And, of course, your calls and thoughts are welcome. You can bring up anything that you want. Also, on the way here tonight, I know Darryl is going to be telling us about some psychopath advocating journalists be gunned down, and we'll tell you more about that. Also, cannabis banking amendment has been apparently shut down in the federal government, which is not good news. But if they can actually privatize the post office, that could very well be good news. We're going to get into that, but I also want to let you know about Bitcoin.com, which is where you go if you want to learn more about cryptocurrency. Maybe you've heard about Bitcoin, you've heard us talking about cryptocurrencies, but you just haven't taken the time to go and learn about it for yourself, because you do have to do your due diligence. And you do have to, there's a bit of a learning curve here. This is new technology. It's easier now than it's ever been in the past. That's definitely true. So now's the best time to get in, just because it's just so easy to do with the different types of wallets and such. But anyway, go to Bitcoin.com to get started and learn the basics about Bitcoin. Once again, that's Bitcoin.com. If you're not new to Bitcoin, you want to get the latest news headlines, head over to their news side over at news.bitcoin.com. You'll get fresh headlines every single day there and information about the world of Bitcoin. So once again, that's news.bitcoin.com. So where's your story from again?
This is from the Wall Street Journal last week.
All right. What's going on?
The proposed postal reform comes as shifts in the way people communicate and shop are straining delivery networks created decades earlier to deliver mail across the country. President Donald Trump has launched a task force, not a space force, a task force, to review finances and operations at the agency, which has been losing money for years.
Yeah. That's what the review is going to show, is that they've been hemorrhaging cash, billions of dollars every single year. I mean, it is a loser of a business.
For a decade. 20 years ago, they were actually making money.
Sure. But now the world is very different.
Yep, that's the way it works.
People shop online.
We have businesses here in Keene that are actually shop owners that are retiring, and no one's wanting to pick up and take over the shops or move into the vacant areas. And everyone's like, buy local and da-da-da-da-da, and we got to save our shops. And here I am. I've adapted.
Yeah.
I've decided that this is not the way anymore. I can service, I can support the entire country with my business, whereas I can support only a small few chunk, a small little click here.
You sell books. I sell books.
So yeah, I sell them. I sell them all over the country. I used to sell them all over the world, and I got tired of dealing with the postage fees and not being
customs.
Not being paid back adequately by Amazon. So I dropped that crap real quick.
Gotcha.
So this discussion here, and I want to sidetrack for just a moment. We're talking about possibly privatizing the post office, but there are a bunch of people that like to say, well, no, the post office is already privatized. So what exactly would wind up being different?
So we are quasi-fed, but we don't pay federal tax. We don't pay state or local municipal tax.
Meaning you don't pay property tax on the property tax?
Correct.
Okay.
Of course, we have the monopoly that gives us an advantage over the competition.
Right.
But I mean, there's things like we don't own our own jets. We actually have to pay. We ship our stuff on like Amazon jets and UPS jets.
Okay.
And they turn around, by the way, and they give us deals because it's a handshake deal between the two, all of the parties.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the big one is that we don't pay taxes.
So the post office is a tax-exempt entity.
Oh, and I forgot one out too. The loans, and we can take out up to $15 billion in loans, which by the way were maxed.
Federal loans
but it is crazily subsidized. It's like 1% or something.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two big ones: taxes and subsidized loans.
Well, plus the pensions, which are being subsidized by the taxpayers.
It's the leftovers, like the almost $3 billion that wasn't paid last year.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be picked up by somebody, but if we can't take a loan out to pay that anymore, so someone.
No, the post office usually goes right. The post office, as I recall, usually the Postmaster General, whoever goes to Congress and basically says, "Well, we lost this many billion this year.
Give me more."
Yeah, we lost this many billion this year, but we have to pay all these post office people, these union people, I don't know what the rate is, typical government pension rates, like 90%.
It's good pensions.
90% plus all the bennies or whatever. Yeah, we got it. We told them we'd pay them for the rest of their life, so now we got to pay them even though we're not making any money. Can the taxpayers foot that bill? And the answer is always yes.
Yeah, and that is coming from the federal employment retirement system. So we pay in. We're paying something in. I know a lot of my coworkers, it's coming out of their check.
Okay.
Right. So what you're basically saying is that the post office is a government entity, even though people like to say that it's not a government entity because people are stupid.
It's somewhat more independent than most government entities, but it is by no means its own separate entity. It still has strings attached to the federal government, many of them. So the question, I guess, or the proposal would be to cut some of those strings or cut all of them?
The big one is if they can cut the strings on days worked and on rates.
But what is Trump's proposal?
Those right there.
Okay.
I think he wants to privatize everything, but that would give us the advantage of closing on Saturdays or maybe Wednesdays right in the middle of the week and raising rates, and that would fix the problem.
Right, which are two things that you have to go through Congress for approval at this point, meaning the Postmaster General has to get those proposals approved by Congress in order to do that. If you were to make it a more private organization, then whatever board of directors or whoever would make those decisions.
And the other problem is the mandated pre-funding of the pensions, which, by the way, I don't even know. Supposedly, we've been pre-funding for 10 years, or 4 years anyways, and they haven't 6 years. But I, just like Social Security, I think that's a fund that won't exist when I'm able to collect.
Right.
I think that's something that'll be rated if it even exists.
So what more from the Journal? Do they tell you more about what?
Privatizing the Postal Service would provide a greater freedom of prices, there we go, and negotiate pay and benefits according to the White House proposal. A private postal operator could cut costs by delivering mail fewer days a week and to more centralized locations, it said. And so that would basically get rid of my job as a rural carrier. I wouldn't be hitting that trailer at the end of the road. They would probably just have post office boxes, or if you live in a city.
Right. There are some towns to where people don't have mailboxes in front of their house. They go down to the post office, and everybody has a P.O. box.
These days, if you try to get a P.O. box these days, it's much harder. You have to jump through a lot more hoops to get a post office or a mailbox in front of your house.
Probably because of the Patriot Act and crap
in fact,
like
I
that.
delivered. No, it's because we can't drive because it's money.
I see.
So a neighborhood on my route was established. The houses are
brand new,
50 years old.
Oh, okay. Well, up here that's pretty new.
But their mail was being sent to a centralized location, and then that stopped. And the question was, do we put mailboxes all down this street? Or do we set up an NDCBU, which is a centralized little unit at the beginning of the street? And so there's at least a dozen customers who have to drive, half a mile up the street to get
their mail.
To get this location.
All right, there's more coming up here. You'll share more, I guess.
There's a lot more.
All right, and then Reason says this is a plan that needs a serious look. The toll-free number here is 855.
If you want Conan to survive, we need to do this.
450 free 855-450-3733. We got more on the way here. This is Free Talk Live.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up anything that you want. Apparently a big proposal by the Donald Trump administration to reorganize aspects of the federal government. Now, this is a 132-page document. I did just pull it up here. I have not gone through, obviously, the entire thing.
It's the best document. It's got all the best words. It's huge.
But they would have you believe, ultimately, that that the government needs reform, that they need to change how everything works to make it more efficient, to make it more 21st century, ostensibly. And then it goes through and proposes basically to, move about certain bureaucracies, shuffle the cards somewhat. I don't know. Maybe there's actually some proposals to reduce here and there. Like I said, I haven't looked through the whole 132 pages, but the header that I'm looking at here, mission alignment imperatives, organizational realignments to enhance mission and service delivery, and then they go through several different points there, and then there's another one, management improvement and efficiency opportunities. Again, the suggestion here that they can make government work better. And I just don't buy it. Government's always going to suck. It's always going to be slow. It's always going to be ponderous. It's going to be stupid. It's going to be violent. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be a monopoly. It's going to have no, competition, prohibited by law, basically, to have competition. But if they can actually spin off the post office, I'll give them credit, because that's a pretty big bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm.
The post office is a massive bureaucracy, as you pointed out, Conan, with over 600,000 postal employees at this point. I mean, that's military size. It's tremendous. You said a couple 100,000 of them are in a postal union, and this postal union has already announced its opposition to the proposed changes that the Trump administration would like to make to the Postal Service, which is to say, to ostensibly make it a more private operation. And so if the postal union is against it, that could be an indicator that this might actually be a good plan. So, Conan, tell us more about it.
And I was way off, too. It looks like 875,000 employees.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Continuing on with this article from the Wall Street Journal, the Postal Service has, of course, been lobbying for freedom to raise the prices and asking Congress to pass legislation to ease some of the burdens of its workers' retirement benefits. On Thursday, Postmaster General Megan Brennan said she would continue to work with the President and Congress to revamp the agency's flawed business model, but it would be up to Congress to determine whether privatizing the agency was the best course or will be the best course. The American Postal Workers Union, which represents 200,000 postal workers, objected to the idea of privatizing the agency. Of course.
Because then their union wouldn't be as strong, right?
Exactly.
Now, there was some sort of, you mentioned a Supreme Court ruling earlier today, apparently, that said something about public union workers.
That you would not be forced to pay into a public union.
Which is a big deal.
But it looks like it says this is semi-private. There's only 200,000 out of 800,000, or almost 900,000 employees. So it looks. I'm not obligated.
You're already
to sign
not
it.
obligated.
So we're not. This is treated like a private industry.
Yeah, I wonder if the post office had more autonomy, if it was a more private organization, would they be able to just simply get rid of the union workers?
No, because there are still some states that require, if there's a union, then everybody that works there must join the union. It's called closed shop.
Right.
The union representative goes on to say the proposal would end regular mail and package services at an affordable cost and hurt rural Americans and e-commerce. The union's president, Mark Diamondstein,
why don't you care
said
about,
in a statement.
You don't care about rural Americans?
Hey, I care about the money. If we're losing money, we can't do it.
Yeah, but you're going to hurt people.
You can drive.
These people are going to starve.
You could drive to the center of town and pick up your stupid junk mail.
Right. I mean, the reality is, if you're going to live out in the middle of nowhere,
it's just like the whole internet debacle here in the Monadnock region. Here, everyone's like, we've got to have high-speed internet to everyone, and it's like, dude, if you live up on top of the mountain, all by your lonesome, and there's only 3 people up there.
Nobody's obligated to run a line to you.
The representatives here in this area want it to be.
That's ridiculous.
They want to make municipal bonds to pay $50,000, $100,000, or whatever it is to run a line up to one guy.
One of the perks of living out in the woods is that there's lower costs of living in general, right?
It's called living off the grid.
You're not paying the property taxes of a big city. There's certain costs that are lower, but there are also certain costs that are higher, like the fact that you got to pay more for internet access, or you've got to,
or you might not get certain services,
or you've got to drive out to the mailbox.
You've got to have a generator
to get your mail, that kind of thing.
This is the way it works. But we live in an entitlement society, a victimhood society, and a big one is entitlement, where everyone thinks they deserve everything, regardless of whether they paid into it or not. This is our problem. This is our country's problem. This is where we're going. This is why we're going to fail, because everyone believes that they deserve everything because their neighbor has it. Now, my neighbor has it. I deserve to have it. Who do I have to vote for to get this? And they'll vote for that person for the biggest fish. It's horrible.
Darryl, are you trying to jump in there?
So I've actually pulled up something on that Supreme Court case.
Yeah.
Where it's actually not really what we had thought. So what the Supreme Court did, and CNN says the Supreme Court dealt a major blow to public sector unions. Well, actually what it was, the court struck down an Illinois law that required non-union workers to pay union fees for collective bargaining. So it wasn't whether or not people could be forced to join the union. There are some places to where there are union workers and non-union workers, and apparently in Illinois they were requiring the non-union workers at the public sector establishments to pay the union fees, even though they weren't union members.
Isn't that how are they allowed to do it in this state for public sector?
I don't think so.
Because I remember there was a big debate about that last year, and I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There was some legislation that was trying to be passed.
There was a right-to-work legislation that was working its way through, but because the thing that was going through also affected private businesses,
right?
Some of the more libertarian members of the legislature wound up voting against it because they didn't want to interfere with the private contracts.
Back to this article. The Postal Service's first-class mail revenue is failing as more correspondences and businesses is conducted by email.
Right. It's been failed.
Yeah.
It has been failing for more than a decade.
The only thing that's keeping us afloat right now are parcels.
Yeah.
At the same time, the rapid growth of e-commerce is pushing greater volumes of packages through its networks, like companies like Amazon. United Parcel Services Incorporated and FedEx Corp. often relying on the Postal Service's army of mail carriers for so-called last-mile delivery, the guy on the hill, the guy on the end of the street. Me, yeah. Last-mile delivery to people's homes and businesses. Parcels are more costly to process and deliver than envelopes. Those expenses, along with wage increases, pension obligations, and declining mail volumes, have been weighing on the agency for years.
The reason it's more costly, right, is because, or at least one reason is because they have processing equipment, machines that flip around a bunch of envelopes pretty efficiently, but packages, there's different sizes and shapes, so there's probably a lot more human handling.
Those have to be done by hand.
Right. In fact, it's all the machines that have risen. I love the the machines have been risen in the last 20 years and have really cut back on the bigger mail rooms. I still have to go through mine individually.
Right.
There's no machine.
No other way to do it.
There's no machine putting my mail in order.
Got it.
And then also because of the parcels, you've got big bulky things, so you can't fit as many things into the truck. Right. Which makes
more trips back and forth.
Yeah, more trips, etc. And a lot of times, if you've got something that's really heavy, then you come into weight restrictions of how much you can actually load into the truck.
Well, so far I've come across some really heavy items, but I've never had to deal
I'm
with...
talking more about getting stuff from one place to another, not going on a delivery route.
I worked for UPS for 4 months, and they were sending axles, truck axles, hundreds of pounds.
Wow.
And I have never dealt with that with the post office, but UPS and FedEx, they do deal with that nonsense. And that's why they're all young dudes who work for them.
We'll continue here. Your calls and thoughts welcome. Our number, 855-450-FREE. More on the proposal to privatize the Postal Service, which sounds good on its face, but how's it actually going to happen if it is even approved? More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. It's already been an extraordinary year for the Innocence Project and their clients. They've already freed more innocent people in the past 12 months than in any year in the history of the Innocence Project, and they're gearing up to do even more. The attorneys and paralegals for the Innocence Project are dedicated to doing whatever it takes to set an innocent person free. To support them, a new cohort of law students have recently joined and are excited to help with more than 200 cases of clients seeking to prove their innocence. 9 clients have been exonerated and reunited with their families in 2018 already, and your support now will help build on the incredible momentum of exonerations. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material.
FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number where you can take control of the airwaves is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype, so you can Skype in at Skype username lrn.fm. There's plus you can use our Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm. It's the first room there in our list of chat rooms, and you can use the Discord server anytime you want to chat with other Free Talk Live listeners before, during, and after the show. Head over to discord.lrn.fm to do that. And if you are a liberty-minded person and you've got a business and you want people to know within the Liberty community about your business, then you need to get it up over at liberty.menu. It's free to use liberty.menu. It's basically an online business directory, but it also has categories for events and digital content. So whether you're a creator or an events coordinator or a business owner, you ought to put your thing that you do, or the things that you do, up on liberty.menu. It is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. If that doesn't describe you, sorry, you're not welcome to use liberty.menu. It's exclusively for people who actually believe in liberty. So go to liberty.menu if you care about freedom, and you can use code FTL on your profile. You get a special Free Talk Live listener badge as a result. As we continue here, it's Ian with you.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Conan, you're sharing from the Wall Street Journal about this new proposal as a part of a larger proposal, apparently, by the Trump administration to restructure the federal government, which includes a proposal to privatize the post office.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us more.
Continuing on with the article, an independent agency of the executive branch, the Postal Service doesn't currently receive tax dollars for operating expenses, which are funded through sales of postage and shipping services.
But it does receive tax dollars to prop up their
pension
fund.
Exactly, and they don't pay into the system as far as property taxes are concerned. Yep. President Trump has criticized the Postal Service on Twitter, accusing it of giving sweetheart deals to Amazon for package delivery and saying the agency needs to be restructured so it can compete fairly in the commercial markets. The task force, not to be confused with the Space Force he convened in April, is expected to issue a report on its findings in August. It's right around the corner. We'll find out some more, I guess.
All right.
USPS is caught between a mandate to operate like a business, but with the expenses and political oversight of a public agency.
Right.
According to the White House's proposal unveiled Thursday. In her statement Thursday, Mrs. Brennan, the Postmaster General, said potentially changes to the agency's business model should be developed and considered by the President and Congress in an open and transparent manner. A privatized postal service could be structured like an investor-owned utility.
Hold on. Is this the Postmaster General saying this?
Yes. Postmaster General Brennan.
Okay.
A privatized postal service could be structured like an investor-owned utility and continue to be regulated by the Postal Regulation Commission or another government body. consistent with existing models of privatization in Europe, the plan said.
Why we would want to emulate Europe, I'm not very sure.
Unless they've got it right.
Well, because Denmark, happy something.
Because of all the pills. But before going private through an initial public offering or sale to another entity like Amazon.
Wait, wouldn't they be going public through an initial public offering? It would be a government agency turning into a private or public company.
Before turning private.
Yeah.
By going through an initial public offering or sale, or sale to another entity like Amazon, the agency would have to reform its operations and demonstrate that it could be profitable, the plan said. And
well, then it never will.
I think that it never will unless they change a lot of things.
Yeah. If they're hoping to sell, and they address this in the Reason article as well here that I've got, but if they're hoping to sell this thing, like if they were going to sell the post office straight up to Amazon or some other buyer, or this IPO where people would then presumably get shares of a public corporation known as the Post Office Incorporated or something like that, then no, you wouldn't want to wait around until the post office could show profitability, because it never will. If they're unprofitable now, I don't think any amount of deck chair shifting on the post office governmental reorganization is going to make them become a profitable organization.
And as long as they have to remain under the wing of government, under government regulation, I mean, someone like that other entity might not ever step to the plate because they know they don't want to deal with the hassle. It's like, why take up this new company? Why don't I just start my own UPS or FedEx?
Because you're not allowed to. Yahoo Finance.
Yeah, but if USPS fails, if they go bankrupt in the next 15 years, and
they're already bankrupt.
They've been bankrupt. Congress is never going to remove the monopoly that the post office has, which means nobody is going to compete or be allowed to compete for first-class mail.
But would they remove the monopoly if the post office went private?
Probably not.
Well, then that would be a problem.
Yeah. Yahoo Finance has a list of what they refer to as common sense moves that would help fix the post office.
All right, let's hear it.
They suggest cutting mail delivery from 6 days down to possibly as few as 3.
There have been proposals from the post office to do that.
I would do 1 day.
Really?
Just one.
That's it?
Just one.
I think 3.
Wednesdays.
I think 3 would be good. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Uh-huh.
And then you could still do package deliveries, if people pay you a bunch of extra money.
And here's why I say 1 day. And you would still have parcel services every day.
Okay.
But 1 day, regular mail, and jack up the rates, which would prevent a lot of nonsense mail coming through your box, and so you wouldn't have as much work to do.
Okay.
Next proposal here, they say, is to allow postal carriers to deliver to a centralized drop box instead of to everyone's house, which is something, Conan, that you had mentioned happens in some places. They say allow the post office to close underperforming post office. So if there's, let's just say that the tiny little town of Roxbury has a post office. Close that one.
Yeah.
And just, they drive, 5 minutes one way to Keene or 5 minutes the other to Marlboro. Right now, Postal Service can't just decide to close a failing post office without congressional approval. Allow the Postal Service to charge market prices for stamps, setting prices in a way that actually covers the cost, which is something that Conan mentioned several times.
Meaning, if you live in, Los Angeles and you send mail to Los Angeles, it should cost something, say, less than sending from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Instead of costing 50 cents, no matter where it is you send, it might cost a few bucks or $2 or something like that to send all the way across the country, but maybe it would only cost 25 cents or 30 cents to do it next door.
Let the Postal Service sell a wide range of consumer products at its 35,000 post offices instead of limiting sales to a mere 11 non-postal products.
Huh.
I'm not sure what they mean here by a wide range, but
I don't know either. I feel like they've got tape and packaging materials and things like that.
Right, so that would be the 11 products.
Okay.
I'm guessing probably expand on.
I think sell snacks or something like that. Soda pop.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
None of that crap's going to make them profitable.
I'm thinking, they already do money orders, but maybe allow them to sell boxes. Right now, they have boxes. You go grab the priority box and you just take it. It's free.
Well, it's a federal crime to use the box for any other purpose besides sending a package.
Come arrest me.
I've actually run into these fools who will use a postal box as like the packaging, the interior packaging, and they'll wrap it with their own box.
Right.
So they got reinforced double box, but wow. Yeah, I've never done it, never
courtesy
will.
of the taxpayer.
The last thing here is to stop requiring the Postal Service to pre-fund retirement health benefits for its employees, a ruinous financial burden that no private sector company bears.
Which they haven't actually paid into since 2012.
But there's still a legal requirement that they do so. Whether or not they're abiding by the legal requirement is irrelevant.
Which should have been up last year, the end of last year.
So since they're not actually paying into it and they're required to do so, should not the Postmaster General be arrested for violating federal law?
Yes, and on top of that, the post office still owes like $30 billion to that fund.
It's not criminal.
It's like $6 billion every year or something that they haven't been paying into it.
Oh, right. It's not criminal when the government doesn't do what they're supposed to do.
And she has no liability for the actions of the
post office.
She's just the Postmaster General, just a bureaucrat.
The budget layout, she actually quoted that in order to stay liquid, we can't pay into this, otherwise you're going to hurt all of our postal employees. And I guess that worked, and the Congress is like, all right, well, you can't pay it because it'll hurt this almost 900,000 employees.
There's more to say on this proposal. Did you have more to share from your story?
Nope, that's it.
Because I'm going to dig in a little bit to what Reason Magazine is saying. They say this plan needs a serious look. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind. Plus, on the way, Darryl, you're going to be telling us about some not-so-good news in the world of cannabis and banking, and gunning down journalists. According to one advocate, it's Free Talk Live.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Conan, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,257 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,093. Antiwar.com reports a senior official with the U.S. State Department says that they have been warning countries around the world, particularly U.S. allies, to stop all purchases of Iranian oil. They say purchases must end by November, and the U.S. is unlikely to offer any further exemptions to allow any more purchases. The official confirmed, "We are asking them to go to zero." He said China and India, two major customers of Iranian oil, are among those the U.S. has warned. The U.S. withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal last month and intends to again ban oil purchases. Yet the Iran deal itself is still intact without the U.S. China is even a signatory to that deal and almost certainly will not agree to stop buying Iranian oil just because the U.S. tells them they can't. This is doubly true because the remaining signatories are trying to save the deal. Iran has reportedly already met with Chinese customers to ask them to keep buying oil, and while they haven't gotten any guarantees, China appears to have plenty of justification to continue doing so. Iran has also requested EU nations commit to buying oil from them as part of the deal to remain in the nuclear pact. For most nations, this will likely depend chiefly on the economic cost of ending Iran trade compared to what the U.S. might do to them. So long as the nuclear deal remains in place, any U.S. attempt to punish other countries will likely lead to backlash and limit the U.S. ability to isolate anyone.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports the Supreme Court narrowly ruled Tuesday to uphold President Donald Trump's travel ban on migrants and refugees from several Muslim-majority countries. In a 5-4 decision along partisan lines, the justices reversed a series of lower court decisions that struck down the ban as illegal, giving the White House its first high court victory on the merits of a presidential initiative. Trump tweeted, "Supreme Court upholds Trump travel ban. Wow." Trump also tweeted, "In this era of worldwide terrorism and extremist movements bent on harming innocent civilians, we must properly vet those coming into our country. This ruling is also a moment of profound vindication following months of hysterical commentary from the media and Democratic politicians who refuse to do what it takes to secure our border and our country. More than 150 million people in Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen are affected by the ruling." Chad, also a Muslim-majority nation, was removed from the list in April. North Korea and Venezuela, while part of the executive order, are not part of the legal battle. Chief Justice John Roberts argued that the president has ample power to impose entry restrictions and insists the ban was within the scope of Trump's power. He also rejected claims that it has an anti-Muslim bias. Roberts wrote for the majority, "The text says nothing about religion." Plaintiffs and the dissent nonetheless emphasized that 5 of the 7 nations currently included in the proclamation have Muslim-majority populations, adding, "Yet that fact alone does not support an inference of religious hostility, given that the policy covers just 8% of the world's Muslim population and is limited to countries that were previously designated by Congress or prior administrations as posing national security risks." Roberts was joined in the majority by Justices Anthony Kennedy, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch. Justice Sonia Sotomayor quoted Trump's own words in her dissent, saying his travel ban is merely a version of the Muslim ban he proposed during the campaign. Sotomayor wrote, "The court's decision leaves undisturbed a policy first advertised openly and unequivocally as a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States, because the policy now masquerades behind a facade of national security concerns," adding, "But this repackaging does little to cleanse a presidential proclamation of the appearance of discrimination that the president's words have created. A reasonable observer would conclude that the proclamation was motivated by anti-Muslim animus." Joined by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in her dissent, Sotomayor said the panel's conservative justices ignored the facts, misconstrued legal precedent, and turned a blind eye to the pain and suffering that the ruling puts on countless families and individuals, many of whom are United States citizens. Justices Stephen Breyer and Elena Kagan were the court's 2 other dissenters. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
But first, our parenting expert, Rebecca McCallum, is here with some advice.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Rebecca. Now, Rebecca runs a popular parenting blog called Mom Magic.
That's right. It's about the everyday parenting choices that could make a big difference on our children.
Rebecca, I read the blog a lot. My first question is, who the hell do you think you are telling me how to raise my kids?
You know, I have a degree in early childhood education, but my greatest education has been raising 3 beautiful kids of my own.
Okay, Rebecca, what other bullshit do you have the nerve to share with us this morning?
I talk about this in my book, and it does take a lot of effort, but parents really should teach their child a second language. My daughter Hazel and I are learning French together.
Wow, you know, I'll bet a lot of moms watching right now are thinking, you.
Well, I get that a lot, but the window during which language acquisition skills are at their peak is really
whatever.
very
I
small.
wish I had done that. You win, but guess what I just remembered? You're not my boss.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial on in here toll free, take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever is on your mind. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
In a more than 130-page proposal, the Trump administration coming forward with a bunch of ideas on reorganization for the federal government, most of which, and I'm only through about 64 pages of just scanning. I don't have time to read this crap. But it's just, you know, it's
which will probably never come to pass, by the way.
Well, how much of it will is another question, yeah. But they made this big proposal of basically restructuring, reorganizing, merging different agencies, merging functions of existing agencies into single agencies, and they go on through many pages of this, and it's sort of interspersed with like quotes that sound good on their face, right? So like here's some quotes from just ostensible Americans. Like they don't even tell you these people's last names in these quotes. Let me see if I can find one of them here. Kenneth from Washington State, quote, "All agencies that regulate food safety should be under one department, preferably under the Department of Agriculture." That's a quote from someone named Kenneth in Washington State, according to this document. Another one from Joe in Florida, quote, "Permitting takes way too long and costs way too many tax dollars." So, yeah, I mean, permitting sucks. There's no doubt about that. So, like, they have these quotes sort of on these pictures of models doing work or whatever in here to show it's the American way. And, you know, this government is so bureaucracy, you know, it's heavy, it's so excessive that we need to trim things down. That's sort of what they want you to believe here, but I don't really know if the proposals actually do that. So for instance, one of the proposals here would merge the Department of Education and Labor into a single cabinet agency called the Department of Education and the Workforce. This is the summary of the proposal. There's much more after this. The new agency would be charged with meeting the needs of American students and workers from education and skill development to workplace protection to retirement security. Merging ED and DOL would allow the federal government to address the educational and skill needs of American students and workers in a coordinated way, eliminating duplication of effort between the two agencies and maximizing the effectiveness of skill-building efforts. See? Instant efficiency.
They're basically admitting that with this proposal, the reason for schooling is to make you a good little worker bee so that you can just go seamlessly into the workforce and you don't have to think about anything.
That's the whole concept behind Common Core.
Well, that's the whole point behind government school.
You've got these businesses who are like, hey, what? Because by the way, they're paying a lot of the property tax here, at least in our area, that goes into the schools, and it's like, hey, what are we getting out of this?
A crappy workforce.
Maybe if we had a good workforce, little worker drones, we only need a couple who are actually able to push buttons and tell other drones what to do.
But that's the way it's
90% of them, we need worker drones.
But that's the way it was before Common Core. I mean, that's the whole point of the government education
model. The purpose
model.
of Common Core, and I know people that are school teachers, the purpose of Common Core is supposed
to sell
to
textbooks.
Well, that's
publishing.
part of it, but it's to make sure that every school, whether it's some elementary school in New England or an elementary school in California or a middle school somewhere, that the 7th graders are learning the same thing everywhere.
Yeah, that's what they say. I claim it's all about selling textbooks.
Of course it's about selling textbooks. But the thing is, they want to make sure that everybody has the same textbook.
Well, I think they're dumbing them down. The poor kids dumbing down more than
They've
already
been dumbing
were.
people down.
Of course they're dumbing them down, but they were doing that long before anybody came up with the concept of Common Core.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the Prussian school model, is a dumbed down worker drone.
Common Core is just a nice scapegoat for people that don't want to actually think about what the schools are doing. They just say,
Common Core's
I
bad.
heard they did this thing, so therefore Common Core.
No, the problem is government schools.
And not to mention, if they don't go with the Common Core, they won't get that federal monies.
So the problem is the government schools are out there. And remember when Trump got, when he got elected and he started naming his cabinet officials, and he named like some homeschooling woman as the head of the
Betsy
Department
DeVos?
of Yeah.
She is the educational director.
Right. It was like sort of promoted as, she's going to go in there with an axe and take out the Department of Education. And that hasn't happened. If they wanted to actually have significant reform to the federal government, it would be to eliminate the Department of Education and replace it with nothing.
Right, and the Republicans actually in 1980, they advocated abolishing the Department of Education, which it was only like a 2 or 3 year old agency at that time anyway, so it made sense of, hey, let's just get rid of this thing that's only been around for a couple of years.
Right. So I'll just, since we're on the topic here, this is their first proposal. So I'm on right now. This is page 23 of this 132-page document. I'll just read to you a little bit more about this one so we can dig in further, and then we can talk more about the post office, because that's part of this. ED, which is the Department of Education, and DOL, the Department of Labor, they say share a common goal of preparing Americans for success in a globally competitive world through family-sustaining careers. However, the two departments operate in silos, inhibiting the federal government's ability to address the skill needs of the American people in a coordinated manner. Now,
silos, like
separated from one another.
Why do
you put the corn in one and the wheat in another? You don't mix the corn and the wheat.
Yeah, I get that, but they're all right. That's a weird. It's a weird analogy.
Yeah,
it's a weird analogy.
So, look, if the federal government was supposed to exist to just be an arbiter of disputes between the states, which sort of was originally
why do we even
plan.
need a Department of Labor?
Right, you don't need that. And also, why would the federal government need to address the skill needs of the American people in a coordinated manner? That should just be what the marketplace does. The marketplace on its own will address the skill needs of the people, because the people who need people with skills will pay for people to have those skills, which will incentivize people to get the skills.
Ian, you see, STEM.
Science,
STEAM,
technology, and engineering, and math.
Yeah, just like throw out these acronym things, that's how you wind up getting more money.
Yeah.
See, we've got a STEM program,
right? And there's plenty of acronyms in this document.
It's back to where I had it before, Ian. It's these big companies, these corporations. They want their product back that they're paying into the system, and these politicians are beholden to the people who are actually paying into the system. So they're like, we need more worker drones. You need to make sure that we're getting our drones. Otherwise,
and I don't know if it's necessarily
torches and pitchforks.
The whole calling them worker drones, and I think I referred to that earlier as well. But it's kind of one of those right wing sort of buzzword sort of.
Is it
something? I think so.
I don't think so.
But I think a lot of it has to do.
Because the right wing supports government schools too.
True.
They just want to put God back in the schools.
Yeah, the only people who say worker drones are anarchists.
I don't know. But I think a lot of it has to do with what you're saying of, the businesses throwing money at the schools. They want the schools to do the training. They don't want to do the on-the-job training for people.
And by the way,
it would be more efficient if they did.
But you have more and more companies who are actually having to step up to the plate and do just that. They're having intern programs and 11th, 12th grade. Hey, bring your seniors to us, and we'll go ahead and train them up for free, and we'll have jobs ready for them to go, because they are not getting adequate employees by the time they're graduating, which is a horrible, horrible thing. It's like, what have you been doing for 13 friggin' years where you can't even tie your shoelaces when you graduate?
I don't know if I buy your conspiracy theory, Conan, that corporations want a Department of Education. I don't think that they really... I don't think that comes across their desk.
The businesses, they like the nice little tax write-off that they get for donating to the schools.
Okay, there's that too. But I'm just thinking about people like Bill Gates. I mean, he doesn't want to spend 2 years hiring these right out of high school graduates. He would rather government did it for him. So why don't we send all this training that we have here at our facility? Why don't we send it to the employment side of the schools and let them handle it?
Sucks.
With the
most business owners know that government sucks and makes things worse.
Do they?
Yeah, they don't want to jump through their damn permitting hoops. They don't want to be obedient, super obedient, and have to spend a bunch of time.
I'm not talking about they won't be signing
taxes.
permits. They're just gonna hand off all of the work over to the school system to train their employees for them.
Why would they want to do that? I mean, why would a sane business person want to give the government schools the control over whether or not they actually have employees that can do a job?
Maybe they still have faith in the system.
Well, I mean, I'm sure some of them have that faith, but man, pay attention. 855-450 free. We got more coming up.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com. With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Good technology is good, but the philosophy behind the tech is important. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded into the white paper. With no central authority or single point of failure, Zencash is more resilient than a traditional corporation. Everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision-making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. And Zencash allows for secure private transactions. Learn more at zencash.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. The number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we're looking at a document here the Trump administration has proposed entitled Delivering Government Solutions in the 21st Century. And then it goes into 132 pages of proposals as far as how the government, the federal government, should be restructured and reorganized, and in some cases, new bureaucracy created. As I've been, scrolling through here, a lot of the proposals do have to do with combining bureaucracies, and it's not really clear if there will actually be cuts as a result of that. That's not made crystal clear to me.
Of course there's not going to be a cut.
Right? Because, I think they want you to think there will be cuts.
Right. Just like, remember there was that executive order that Trump signed a good while back about identifying 2 regulations to be repealed for every new regulation. Says nothing about actually repealing anything.
Just identify them.
Identify them. And then the same process has to go through for removing a regulation as adding a regulation, which means that you've got to have a public comment period, you've got to have this other period, and then there's the voting, and it can take 18 months for a regulation to be removed, just as it can take 18 months for a regulation to be added.
So there's a lot to look at here, and as I said, I've just been kind of just skimming through this because it's 132 pages. One of the proposals in the middle of the document on page 78 is to create the Bureau of Economic Growth within the Department of Commerce.
How the hell is that different from the Department of Commerce or the Department of Labor?
Well, they say that it will rethink how the federal government can drive economic growth in concert. Well, right there, they're already wrong, right? Because the government doesn't drive growth.
Right.
It inhibits growth.
Yes.
To govern, right? When you have a governor on a car, the governor prohibits you from going above a certain speed, 65 or 55 or whatever speed the governor is set at. To govern
in NASCAR is about 190.
Right. To govern means to control, to inhibit, to stop the growth, basically, of things. But anyway, going on here, let me jump back in because we were talking about the initial proposal, just to kind of look at least one of these proposals.
The EDOL department.
This would take the existing Department of Education, which they refer to as ED for whatever reason, and the Department of Labor, the DOL, into a single cabinet agency that they would call the Department of Education and the Workforce.
I think the reason they refer to it as ED is DOE would be Department of Energy.
Okay.
And you don't want to refer to two things, both as DOE?
I thought it was a reference to erectile dysfunction, but
no.
Anyway, going on here, the result has been the creation of a complicated web, says this again, the challenge portion of this document. A complicated web of funding streams for states and localities to administer, and a confusing set of signals sent to American students and workers regarding how to best develop the skills needed to succeed in the 21st century economy. The federal government currently operates more than 40 workforce development programs spread across 15 agencies. This fragmentation perpetuates unnecessary bureaucracy and complicates state and local efforts to weave together disparate funding streams to meet the comprehensive needs of their citizens. The administration proposes to merge ED and DOL into a single cabinet agency, the Department of Education and the Workforce, or the DEW. As part of the merger, the administration also proposes significant government-wide workforce development program consolidation. Now, that's a term that you could read as, we're going to cut jobs. but not necessarily.
It's not how it works.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that. They say that program consolidation, streamlining separate programs in order to increase efficiencies and better serve American workers is the claim. And then they go on to say that, quote, this is the opportunity. The new as though there's like opportunity for government to, do something different. Besides
they'll do something different. They'll still be inefficient at it, but they'll do something different.
Right, and that's what the fantasy of this whole document is the idea that some rearranging of the government bureaucracy is going to make it better, is going to make it more effective, is going to make it more efficient. And government is it doesn't have the right incentives from the beginning. It doesn't matter what the structure of it is. I mean, certainly, if they were to merge the Department of Education and the Department of Labor into a bureaucracy and cut, say, a third of their employees, well then, yes, they in theory would be a little bit more efficient as far as that goes, but the existing employees would not become more efficient simply because there are fewer of them. They would still be bureaucrats. They would still be disincentivized to be efficient because bureaucrats and bureaucracies get funding regardless of their performance. It doesn't matter if they do a crappy job or a good job. If they push 10 times the paperwork or half of the paperwork, they're still going to get the same amount of money year in, year out.
Right.
But here's their claim of the opportunity. This is their vision, right? The new merged department would reduce unnecessary bureaucracy, streamline access, and better integrate education and workforce programs, and allow the administration to more effectively address the full range of issues affecting American students and workers. Because, when you've got a problem with, your education, you need to go to the federal government to solve it.
That's what I always do.
The Workforce Development Program consolidation would centralize and better coordinate federal efforts to train the American workforce, reduce administrative costs, and make it easier for states and localities to run programs to meet the comprehensive needs of their workforce. And again, this continues to paint government in this role,
doing something that they have no right to do. It's just they've taken on this role because you have people who are fearful. You have taxpayers, citizens of this country who are fearful that they're not going to be able to do it on their own, and they want to just give up and let some boss tell them what to do. Wake up in the morning,
cog in the system.
Just a cog in just a drone in the system. Back to the drone analogy.
And indeed, one of the words they're going to use up here, Conan, I imagine is going to set you off here. I'll give a little bit of here's their next header. And these headers are in all of the proposals, right? So I'm reading to you from the first proposal. This is on page 23 out of 132. So this is the first proposal. And all of the proposals have these headers: the challenge, the opportunity, and then the third header is what we're proposing and why it's the right thing to do. Because as though the government can do the right thing. No, sorry, the government is corrupt from the very beginning because it's corrupt in its method, it's corrupt in its funding method, it steals from people, it threatens people, so no amount of reworking the government is going to solve that problem unless you actually were to stop them from stealing from people.
The organizers who put this plan together believe that they are making lives better.
They do.
They're training people to get them higher paying jobs and to make their lives ultimately better at the end of the day. But what they don't realize is that handouts, this is a handout in a way, because you're basically taking out all the power from the individual to lead and control his own life. It's just a handout which doesn't actually make him better at the end of the day. It only makes him more of a slave.
More of an obedient serf to plug into what they're going to call the pipeline coming up here. They call the education to career pipeline.
Everything's got to be a pipeline these days.
I'll give you the context for that here in moments. 855-450-FREE is the toll-free number here, and then we can jump back into the post office and talk a little bit more about what the proposal is there. 855-450-3733, and Skype username if you want to join us there is Skype username LRN.FM. Plus, join us on our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. This is Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in here, toll free, take control of the airwaves. If you want, get in on some of this analysis. We're going through the Donald Trump administration proposal, 132-page proposal to so-called reform and reorganize the federal government so they can, quote, deliver government solutions in the 21st century. Yes, that's right. Finally, your government is becoming efficient. Your government is going to be moving into the 21st century.
It's just what you paid for. You're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, right. So we're kind of going through the initial proposal, which, just to kind of give you a taste of what this document is like, because it just goes on and on and on and on, and there's dozens and dozens, it appears, of different proposals for combining agencies and restructuring and even creating a new agency, at least one that I've seen so far, and I've only skimmed through half of the document thus far. We're looking at the first proposal here and just kind of dissecting it, talking about the code, what the words here might actually be referring to, and how whoever it is that's writing this, as you pointed out, Conan, they truly believe they're trying to do something good. They really think that the federal government needs to do all of these things, but it just can do them better.
I would like to think that the people behind this plan feel that way. It might be totally the opposite. They might know it might be a money scam. It might be a we need more drones scam. But yeah, I would like to think that there's someone out there who wants to make my life better. And they know that they can do that by controlling us, controlling the narrative.
So if you want to make your life better, then you got to take your own action to do that in your life. You can't expect some government bureaucrat to actually make your life any better, because they actually make your lives worse by regulating you and controlling you and telling you what to do and telling you what you can't do. One thing they can't really prevent you from doing is getting into cryptocurrency. And there are a lot of different options out there in the world of cryptocurrency. You know about Bitcoin. That's the big one. That's the granddaddy of all of them. But Zencash is one worth taking a close look at. If you believe in the ideas of liberty, as we do here on Free Talk Live, if you are a libertarian or a voluntarist or a liberty-loving anarchist, you really need to look at Zencash, because they founded Zencash with the ideas of voluntarism. It's right there in their white paper. You can read it for yourself over at zencash.com. And Zencash has actually done very, very well. They've got over 12,000 secure nodes now in the Zencash system.
Ooh, they are over 12.
It's actually close to, it's over 12,800 when I checked the other day.
Nice.
So they're still working on climbing up towards the Ethereum level. Ethereum's at over 16,000 at the moment. So
and I do know that they're going through a mandatory upgrade.
Okay.
Now.
Okay, cool. I hadn't heard that. I know they're rolling out at some point the supernode idea. They already have their secure nodes. You can learn a lot more about what all these jargon terms mean over at zencash.com and how you can get involved in Zencash, which also has some of the best technology behind it, including zero-knowledge anonymity. So if you care about privacy, you really need to look at Zencash. They've got the philosophy, they've got the privacy. They're coming out with decentralized autonomous organizations to run the currency, and it's pretty cool. Go to zencash.com. In fact, Darryl, I think somebody bought some Zencash from you today, or you bought some Zencash.
No, I sold.
You sold some Zencash.
Yeah. I'm heading to New Orleans over the weekend, wanted to have a little extra cash.
Some spending money. So, because it's New Orleans, you can't spend your cryptocurrency probably in near as many places as you can in New Hampshire.
Right. And like I do have money in the bank and debit card, but I'd rather have cash.
So there you go, zencash.com. Go and get yours there. Once again, zencash.com. But you didn't sell all your Zencash.
No, not all.
Right. So we're going through the initial proposal here, which is the proposal to merge the Department of Education and Labor into a single cabinet agency. So taking the two departments, the Department of Education and the Department of Labor, merging them into what they would then call the Department of Education and the Workforce.
Doesn't that say a lot? That the fact that they are merging those two departments, they have so much in common?
Well, they're not actually merging. There's just a proposal to merge.
Okay, but someone has proposed, hey, you know what? It really is about getting these kids into the workforce. It's not about...
Of course, it's about getting them into the workforce.
Enlightening these minds and making smarter, bigger, greater people through,
It's not teaching them how to think. It's teaching them what to think.
Correct.
Which is to say, do what you're told.
Yes.
Yeah.
Raise your hand when, you got something to say.
Don't leave until the bell rings.
Sit down, shut up, do what you're told. You're not to have opinions.
So here's the final header, which is what we're proposing and why it's the right thing to do. It says the proposal would merge all of the existing DOL and ED programs into a single department, the DEW, with 4 main sub-agencies focused on K-12, higher education/workforce development, enforcement, and research/evaluation/administration. This would help create alignment throughout the education-to-career pipeline, while also creating coherence within the workforce development and higher education worlds. The K-12 agency would support the state and local educational agencies to improve the achievement of preschool, elementary, and secondary school students, including students with disabilities, Native American students, and English language learners. The agency would comprise improved ED K-12 offices that would better integrate across K-12 programs and more effectively coordinate with higher education and workforce programs. Why? Because we say so. It'll be more effective because we say so. This government bureaucracy will be less bureaucratic because we said it will.
See, we're just merging them, and then we're not reducing the workforce in either of these places. No. See, by merging them together, they become more efficient because reasons.
The agency would comprise improved ED K-12 offices. The K-12 agency would administer activities currently implemented by the ED's offices of elementary and secondary education, innovation and improvement, English language acquisition, and special education programs. As described below, the Rehabilitation Services Administration would be moved to the Higher Education/Workforce Development Agency. The New American Workforce and Higher Education Administration, AWHEA, so that would be a new bureaucracy being created by this program, would be charged with ensuring that the American workers possess the skills necessary to succeed in the workforce. The agency would bring together current DOL workforce development programs and ED vocational education, rehabilitation, and higher education programs. As part of the reorganization, the administration also proposes to consolidate overlapping workforce development funding streams. Observers of federal workforce development efforts have long noted the large number of programs across multiple agencies and duplicative administrative structures inherent in the system, meaning that they're claiming here there's unnecessary duplication across these bureaucracies, and they're going to wipe that out.
By creating the Department of Redundancy Department to find all of the duplications and redundancies.
Right. Observers here, it says here, since 2011, the Government Accountability Office has identified workforce development as an area of duplication, fragmentation, and overlap, and has suggested that co-locating services and consolidating administrative structures may heighten efficiency. Despite modifications made as part of a 2014 reauthorization of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, the WIOA, as I said, there's all kinds of acronyms just all throughout this entire document. And the system remains fragmented at the federal level. To address so despite their modifications where they already reorganized things, that didn't really work. But this time, because we're doing it, the Trump administration, it'll work.
This whole thing of, no, dictatorships aren't bad. We just need to have the right dictator.
I want to be the dictator.
I want to be the dictator.
To address these issues,
I'll burn it down tomorrow.
The new agency would place higher education and workforce development programs under the same umbrella. By doing so, federal skill-building policy would be better coordinated to meet the full range of needs of American students and workers, and in particular would support improved synergy between higher education and workforce development programs. This proposal would simplify and streamline federal workforce development programs, moving from the current arrangement of more than 40 programs at 15 agencies to 16 workforce development programs at 7 agencies. The AWEA would be structured to include components focused on higher education, disability employment, adult workforce development, youth workforce development, and veterans employment, each headed by a presidentially appointed official. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. I'm just going to cut it off there because it goes on for 2 more pages on just this one proposal. And then there are dozens more after that. So, are you buying this? Do you think this is going to actually make the federal government more efficient?
Nope.
This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Now there's a proven powerful anti-inflammatory that absorbs 40 times better. Yes, Nano-Curcumin Plus from One Planet Nutrition contains smaller particle size that allows absorption over 40 times better into your bloodstream. Nano-Curcumin Plus may also help reduce pain and inflammation, detoxify, and help against heart disease and diabetes. Nano-Curcumin Plus is now on sale at OnePlanetNutrition.com. Use promo code GCN for your special discount at OnePlanetNutrition.com, the next generation of nutritional supplementation.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here by dialing toll-free. If you want to join us, you can. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. Your Blink home security system could be on the way to you, and you can get 15% off by going to blinkprotect.com/FTL. It is the easiest home security system you could possibly imagine installing. We did it here at the studio. It was super fast. You unbox it, you put the batteries in the cameras, which they're included, and then you put the cameras up wherever you want. You don't have to worry about running any wires because it's a wireless system. There's only one wire, which is the plug for the hub, because there's a little hub that the cameras communicate with wirelessly. And that's all you got to do. It's super fast to get set up, and that also means it's easy to move the cameras if you make a change, right? Like you decide, oh, you don't want the camera in that corner of the room. You want to put it in the other corner of the room. Okay, no problem. Just put it in the other corner of the room. You don't have to run wires to it. Super easy to do. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blinkprotect.com/FTL. You get your 15% off that way. We've been going through the initial proposal here from the Trump administration on how to restructure the federal government, and they are acting like this is going to be some sort of wonderful benefit to the American people, that the government will become so much more efficient and better, and we're not buying it in here. Now, indeed, if they do actually spin off the Postal Service, I'll give them credit. That would be a huge accomplishment to actually get the Postal Service out from underneath the control of the federal government.
If they also eliminate the first-class monopoly.
Which I doubt they're going to be proposing here, but I did
Correct.
pull up the Postal Service proposal so we can read into that. But Reason.com does say that Trump's plan to propose to change the Postal Service into a private agency does deserve a look. However, according to the story here, as we mentioned earlier, the UPS or USPS has been hemorrhaging money with over $100 billion in unfunded pension liabilities and, quote, no clear path to profitability without reform, unquote, according to Trump's document itself. With the advent of email and related technologies, the first-class mailing services provided by USPS are being used less and less. The number of first-class letters sent has fallen by more than half since 2005, giving the state-run monopoly dim financial prospects. In the last 4 years alone, USPS took on a combined loss of $18.9 billion. Now, in the real world, when a company loses that kind of money, they will go out of business, and their assets will be sold off to the highest bidder in order to try to satisfy whatever creditors they've got.
Unless they know some legislator that'll bail them out.
Right. In this case,
GM.
In this case, the USPS gets bailouts from the federal government in order to continue operating. Now, the 132-page government reform proposal, which we've only scratched the surface on here on this show, reveals only limited information about President Trump's intentions regarding the Postal Service, although it's clear that privatization is the Trump administration's ultimate goal. The plan suggests two possible avenues of market-oriented change: private management with federal regulatory oversight, or selling off the Postal Service in its entirety, either through an initial public offering, aka an IPO, or a direct sale.
That would be ideal if they removed all strings.
Indeed. The proposal hints that an IPO may prove difficult to achieve given the Postal Service's current condition, since few investors are likely to be interested in a highly unprofitable bureaucratic mess. Like, who the hell would want to take that on and try to clean it up?
Not it.
Although, as you pointed out, Conan, if you were going to do that, why not just start it from scratch?
Yep. If you could, like Sanders Spooner.
But then again, as you pointed out, the Postal Service doesn't pay property taxes and things like that, right? They already have the federal government.
If all strings are going to be removed, then that would be something that would also need to be removed, and their subsidized loans as well. You're going to be a private industry. We're going to treat you like one.
Right. So I'm curious how much more money the post office would wind up being in the red if they did have to pay property taxes.
Here in Keene, I mean, maybe $20,000, $30,000 a year.
Right. You're talking about just one facility.
One facility.
There are 35,000 of them.
It would definitely increase the amount they've got to cover. I mean, I don't know what the total would
I think
be.
they can make it up. I think they'll make it work. I think
it could work.
And
sure.
I think there is some post office that would have to close.
Yeah.
Keene would not close, but
they're not allowed to close underperforming post offices.
But if they were privatized and they had to make decisions, money decisions, that's what happens in the real world. Things have to close. Things have to adapt.
The document says the sale would likely require changes and restructuring to first net a profit, which, as we said in the last hour, basically means it'll never be sold. Because if they have to make the post office profitable before they can sell it, it'll just never get to that point because bureaucracy sucks and the post office isn't going to have better opportunities to deliver more mail in the future. They're delivering fewer and fewer pieces of mail, although, as you pointed out, Conan, they're doing more packages now.
That is the only thing. I believe that's the only thing that's keeping us afloat.
The Yahoo Finance article that I have, they say that package delivery, which is where Amazon comes in, and that's the part that President Trump was griping about, is actually a bright spot for the Postal Service. Revenue is rising thanks to Amazon and other e-commerce sites, and the Postal Service is required by law to earn at least a small profit on the contracts to deliver packages. Its contract with Amazon is private, so we can't know the details for sure, but Trump is likely to discover Amazon is a boon for the Postal Service, not a leech.
And if we had our own jets, that might also be an
I'm not so sure.
I mean, right now we have such a
They
deal.
have trucks. You guys have mail trucks, right? Like 18-wheelers. Yeah.
And that's how we get our mail. But I mean, but we're using Amazon and UPS to fly our packages around right now.
Right, but I'm not so sure that owning the jets would necessarily wind up being a cost-saving measure, because then you've got to upkeep the jets and all of this other stuff. Whereas,
I'm just talking about major hubs. I'm not talking about flying out to the boonies. I think it would. Who knows? I don't know these things.
Now here's a little more analysis.
I'm just a cog, Darryl. I'm just a cog on those very, very small wheel of the post office.
On the proposal, here's some more analysis from Reason.com. The author here, Nikhil Sridhar. Selling the USPS would also mean that the federal government would have to absorb its debt and unfunded liabilities. While these concerns are valid, an IPO is still feasible. Cornell University economist Richard Geddes found that a USPS IPO could raise as much as $40 billion. Because again, then if it was an IPO, it would allow anybody who wanted to invest in the Post Office Incorporated to get shares of stock in that organization.
Within the rules and regulations on investing.
Correct. Apart from raising money for the government, an IPO would have considerable advantages. Liberalization would grant the USPS greater flexibility in making business decisions such as determining wages and benefits. Relief from regulatory and political pressure would enable the operation to make changes more rapidly and, as necessary, increasing the efficiency. As we pointed out earlier, right now, they've got to go to Congress whenever they want to even just change the most minute thing about how their business runs. You want to cut back on delivery by a day? You got to ask Congress's permission. You want to change how the rules work on for instance, if they want to update the price of a stamp, they got to change that in front of Congress.
If they want to add a new set of stamps.
Yeah.
I think if it's inflation, they don't have to ask, if I understand correctly. But if we need to raise the rates because we're not making the money, then permission, please.
Apart from raising money for the government, the case for privatization is strong, but there are political hurdles. Postal unions are vehemently opposed to losing generous federal benefits and are not stingy with their political contributions. The USPS employs more than 500,000 people, which means change will have real political consequences. Opponents of denationalization say the experience of European countries illustrates the drawbacks of free enterprise. Higher prices, lower wages, and mass layoffs. But those prospects reflect the economic bubble in which government-run postal services operate. The USPS currently is free from any real competition, in the provision of first-class mail at least. And its prices are largely unresponsive to demand, leading to an inefficient allocation of resources. Opening the postal services to more competition would reduce these inefficiencies. If prices for first-class postal services go up after privatization, that means USPS was holding prices below market levels. If jobs and wages are cut, that means the USPS was avoiding changes that would have made its operations more efficient. Finally, they say here, it's clear that the solution to the Postal Service's ills is more capitalism. The president seems to understand that. He has signed an executive order establishing a task force to identify, quote, reform consistent with this reorganization proposal, unquote. Its report will supposedly be available by August 10th and should outline pragmatic steps towards demonopolizing the postal services.
I was just thinking of something that might actually occur if this was to take place, privatization and whatnot. You might actually reduce some of the Amazon buyers and their spending, the predicament that they get in where they go Amazon crazy. And
why would that reduce that?
Because the rates are going to go up.
So Amazon might change their thing of free shipping on orders over $30.
It used to be $25, and now I think it's like $45.
And it went to $35, and I think it might be back at $45 again.
Yeah, it's gone up. It's gone up over time, regardless. There's more coming up here. 855-450 free like freedom. You can join us on the radio. One person.
Stocks and options trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Fire your stockbroker and hire yourself. I'm Scott Bauer, and I've been a professional trader for over 25 years. I've traded for Goldman Sachs and was the first Amazon market maker at the Chicago Board Options Exchange. I'm also the CEO here at Prosper Trading Academy, the leading educational firm teaching people how to trade the markets. For a limited time, I'm giving away one of my favorite secret trading techniques used by thousands of our students every day to help build their financial future. To learn this technique right now, call my 24/7 voicemail and just leave your email address. I'll email you my free trading technique right away. Just call 1-800-228-2155. This is the very information my students use every day to invest in their financial future. Again, Call 1-800-228-2155 in the next 30 minutes and leave your email address on my voicemail. That's 1-800-228-2155. Call 1-800-228-2155.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Conan, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,257 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,093. Antiwar.com reports a senior official with the U.S. State Department says that they have been warning countries around the world, particularly U.S. allies, to stop all purchases of Iranian oil. They say purchases must end by November, and the U.S. is unlikely to offer any further exemptions to allow any more purchases. The official confirmed, "We are asking them to go to zero." He said China and India, 2 major customers of Iranian oil, are among those the U.S. has warned. The U.S. withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal last month and intends to again ban oil purchases. Yet the Iran deal itself is still intact without the U.S. China is even a signatory to that deal and almost certainly will not agree to stop buying Iranian oil just because the U.S. tells them they can't. This is doubly true because the remaining signatories are trying to save the deal. Iran has reportedly already met with Chinese customers to ask them to keep buying oil, and while they haven't gotten any guarantees, China appears to have plenty of justification to continue doing so. Iran has also requested EU nations commit to buying oil from them as part of the deal to remain in the nuclear pact. For most nations, this will likely depend chiefly on the economic cost of ending Iran trade compared to what the U.S. might do to them. So long as the nuclear deal remains in place, any U.S. attempt to punish other countries will likely lead to backlash and limit the U.S. ability to isolate anyone. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Supreme Court narrowly ruled Tuesday to uphold President Donald Trump's travel ban on migrants and refugees from several Muslim-majority countries. In a 5-4 decision along partisan lines, the justices reversed a series of lower court decisions that struck down the ban as illegal, giving the White House its first high court victory on the merits of a presidential initiative. Trump tweeted, "Supreme Court upholds Trump travel ban. Wow." Trump also tweeted, "In this era of worldwide terrorism and extremist movements bent on harming innocent civilians, we must properly vet those coming into our country. This ruling is also a moment of profound vindication following months of hysterical commentary from the media and Democratic politicians who refuse to do what it takes to secure our border and our country. More than 150 million people in Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen are affected by the ruling. Chad, also a Muslim-majority nation, was removed from the list in April. North Korea and Venezuela, while part of the executive order, are not part of the legal battle. Chief Justice John Roberts argued that the president has ample power to impose impose entry restrictions and insists the ban was within the scope of Trump's power. He also rejected claims that it has an anti-Muslim bias. Roberts wrote for the majority, "The text says nothing about religion." Plaintiffs in the dissent nonetheless emphasized that 5 of the 7 nations currently included in the proclamation have Muslim majority populations, adding, "Yet that fact alone does not support an inference of religious hostility, given that the policy covers just 8% of the world's Muslim population and is limited to countries that were previously designated by Congress or prior administrations as posing national security risk." Roberts was joined in the majority by Justices Anthony Kennedy, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch. Justice Sonia Sotomayor quoted Trump's own words in her dissent, saying his travel ban is merely a version of the Muslim ban he proposed during the campaign. Sotomayor wrote, "The court's decision leaves undisturbed a policy first advertised openly and unequivocally as a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States, because the policy now masquerades behind a facade of national security concerns," adding, "But this repackaging does little to cleanse presidential proclamation of the appearance of discrimination that the president's words have created. A reasonable observer would conclude that the proclamation was motivated by anti-Muslim animus." Joined by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in her dissent, Sotomayor said the panel's conservative justices ignored the facts, misconstrued legal precedent, and turned a blind eye to the pain and suffering that the ruling puts on countless families and individuals, many of whom are United States citizens. Justices Stephen Breyer and Elena Kagan were the court's 2 other dissenters. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
I know I shouldn't, but these muffins are delicious.
And we'll share our favorite recipes later in the hour, but first our guest says, don't give in to road rage. Stay calm behind the wheel and coolly plot your road revenge. Danny Preston is a defensive driving instructor who teaches people how to control their temper behind the wheel. Welcome, Danny.
Thanks for having me.
Danny, there's nothing I hate more than getting cut off.
That drives me nuts. I want to scream out my window.
Getting into an argument with a stranger isn't going to accomplish anything but stress you out.
Well, how should you respond instead?
In 1996, some guy gave me the middle finger after I cut him off. I recognized him from TV. That's when I decided to become a defensive driving instructor, developing the skills I needed to eventually be invited on his show as an expert. Now, once you're there, it's just a simple matter of switching out his muffins with the ones you made yourself. How many did you eat?
What? I don't know.
Thank you so much for sharing your tips, Danny.
Danny is not my true name.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free to join us here if you want. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. Skype username LRN.FM. Or Discord on the Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
As we continue here, you can bring up anything you want. We did a lot of talking about the Trump plan to supposedly reorganize the federal government, which includes a proposal to spin off, hopefully, the Postal Service. And I do wish them the best. I hope that works out.
Yeah, save my job, guys. Do it.
We will see how that pans out. But moving on, because there's other things worth discussing. Darryl, there's a alt-writer who apparently has come out and has advocated for the, murder of journalists? What's going on?
Something along those lines. Headline from The Observer says Milo Yiannopoulos encourages vigilantes to gun journalists down. Milo Yiannopoulos has started issuing threatening messages to reporters when asked to comment for stories. Quote, I can't wait for the vigilante squads to start gunning down journalists on sight, he told Observer over text message in response to a longer feature in development about an Upper East Side restaurant he is said to frequent. When asked to elaborate on who specifically had upset him, he explained that the statement was his standard response to request for comment. Yiannopoulos
Is he not a journalist himself?
He's an a-hole.
Well, a journalist is somebody...
He's a white nationalist. He's a gay man.
A journalist is somebody who would present both sides of an issue. So I highly doubt that somebody like Yiannopoulos...
So he's a commentator. He's an opinion commentator.
He's an opinion commentator, sure. He's probably a jerk.
And he's a guy that likes to...
And he's also inflammatory, and he's also does what someone on this show did often, which was to just throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks.
He likes to tick off liberals.
And it required saying a lot of, spewing vitriol.
Yeah.
He likes to tick off liberals, and there are some confused libertarians that think that means, you're ticking off a liberal, so therefore libertarian.
All right, let me ask you this. Is it all right, because although I have an alt-right haircut, which is nice and shaped this evening, I'm not.
No, your hair's too long on the sides to be alt-right.
And I don't support them, but the alt-right trolling, I find fascinating. I find so entertaining.
You mean when they're trolling others or being trolled? Because it's not hard to troll them.
When they are, I don't see that often because
they get upset over
I'll look at their sites.
Cups at Starbucks.
No, but when they're trolling the liberals, I find it so entertaining. The liberal tears, I sip on your liberal tears. It's like they're all Cartman from South Park.
Right.
Every one of them. And I don't like Cartman. I think he's a nasty character, but he's still fun to watch at times. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that feels this way?
Sure, he's fun to watch. That's why
I'm not entertained by pointless drama. I'm entertained by...
It's not pointless. He actually has... you have to pick through his opinion, but he's actually... What he says is factual, but it's just ugly.
Not yelling snowflake at people isn't factual. That's just pointless drama.
But they are snowflakes.
There are snowflakes on both sides.
Yeah,
people that get upset about, oh my God, the cup at Starbucks doesn't say Jesus on it. I can't believe they're destroying Christmas.
Yeah, same kind of crap. Just a different political viewpoint.
Continuing on here, Yiannopoulos also sent the message to the Daily Beast, Will Sommer over the Daily Beast, in an article examining the struggling UK Independence Party, which the conservative commentator is reportedly seeking to join as a part of, on what InfoWars host described as a soft coup led by nationalist figures. Yiannopoulos posted a picture on Instagram of the veiled threat issued to Sumner captioned, "Where is the lie?" Over the past 18 months, the provocative nationalist has seen his career implode following a BuzzFeed report linking his tenure at Breitbart to known white supremacists and neo-Nazis. After the piece's publication, Yiannopoulos lost funding from the Mercer family, known in the political world as a prominent pro-Trump megadonor, and subsequently elevated his racist rhetoric.
So he's both a racist and a gay man.
Yes. Yes, he is.
It's interesting.
It's an interesting combination.
Well, it's also interesting that he would be welcome in the alt-right because, historically, you don't exactly think of Nazis when you think of gay acceptance.
Yeah, I think they're evolving. And this is and this is why gay men aren't...
Maybe it's just a desperate need on their part for some kind of attention or help.
Yeah, well, this is also why I think gay men are actually losing standing in the left-leaning circles, where they're becoming part of the majority. They're just white men these days.
The log cabin Nazis, I guess.
Well, there's gay men who aren't white guys,
Well, I mean, still white are the majority in this country.
Sure.
This past weekend, the nationalist, that being Milo Yiannopoulos, bragged on Facebook and Instagram that he'd sent $14.88 to the New Yorker's former fact-checker, Talia Lavin. According to the SPLC, the number 1488 is a combination of digits popularly used by white supremacists and neo-Nazis, with the number 14 representing the infamous 14 words, which is a mantra about securing a future for white children, and the number 88 represents Heil Hitler.
Okay.
So Yiannopoulos wrote a check to a Jewish person that worked for...
but I'll take their word for it. The number 88 apparently represents Heil Hitler. I'm not sure how do you get that? How do you get 88 from that? Is there some sort of explanation for why the number 88 represents
that? I know
that
the Nazis
SS?
use it.
There's the old SS symbol.
Right. Maybe H is the 8th letter of the alphabet.
Could be. There you go.
Yeah, I just know that Nazis use the number 88. They also do the 14 thing. Levin formerly of the New Yorker is Jewish. So
let's go to the phones here. We got Matthew on the line in Louisiana watching us online. Go ahead, Matthew. Hello. Hey, you're on the air. Hello.
You're on the radio.
Matthew.
Do you have thoughts?
Matthew in Louisiana.
Hello.
Going once. Going twice. We're going to put you back on hold. Apparently, there's some kind of problem there. Maybe our board op can take a look at the phones. You know, the one caller of the night doesn't even make it on the air. But anyway, yeah, it's open phones all the time here at Free Talk Live. So as long as the phones are working, we will get you on the air, and we'll check back.
We were talking about
Matthew.
Milo, gay alt-writer, and I immediately went to Dave Chappelle.
Chappelle Show.
Being KKK. Being accepted. The blind black man.
Clayton Bigsby, the black-white supremacist.
All right. Let's continue with your story, and we'll check back.
Oh,
that was it.
That was it.
Okay, so this guy has called for the murder of journalists.
Yes, and
he wants
apparently
death squads to go around and kill journalists.
Yep, and he claims that, quote, that's his standard response to request for comment.
That the person who's requesting for the comment should be murdered?
The comment is, I can't wait for the vigilante squads to start gunning journalists down on sight.
Well, that's an indicator that somebody really doesn't have the best ideas, right? Because if you've got good ideas, then they should be able to stand up to journalistic scrutiny. They should be able to stand up to any kind of scrutiny, any kind of public discussion. And ultimately what this person is saying is, I think that my ideas are so bad, I want to kill anybody who would dare to actually report on them with any kind of a critical eye, or to create an article in which somebody has the opportunity to counter the things that I say. So
Right.
I would like to. So he's saying he wants to see all those people murdered, basically.
Yes, that is what he is saying.
Yeah. All right. The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450 free like freedom. I actually have a related story to this, Darryl, because in the news this week is that North Dakota town that we reported on years ago on Free Talk Live, where some people like this Milo guy have been moving to this North Dakota town. Very, very small town. I remember when we reported on it, its population was no more than 6 or something. It wasn't...
What, because it's all white?
Well, North Dakota's pretty white. Yeah, that much is true. But apparently there was at least one black guy living in the town, I think.
And some Native Americans, I believe.
But we'll get into it here. But the idea, Conan, was for them to move to one place.
And take it over.
Basically, yeah. So there's a plot afoot that is going to hopefully prevent these people from taking over the town. We will see. I'll tell you more about that coming up here in moments. 855-450 free.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Hollywood's biggest stars are rallying for a good cause this week with the Save Our Children campaign. Celebs like Jessica Simpson, Brad Pitt, and Gwyneth Paltrow headlined a charity event to help their suffering kids who desperately need a chance to live a normal life. Angelina Jolie talked to Starfix about the charity, saying, quote, "You don't have to be a mother to want to help my children, many of whom are not getting a proper education. If you look at the numbers, 1 in 5 of my children will struggle with drug problems." Joining us now is a representative from the charity, Julie Harrison. Julie, it was such a great cause.
Absolutely. We're talking about children who don't have any positive role models. They're born into a life they didn't ask for, and if the state's not going to step up and help these kids, it's time someone did something.
Here's a quote from Victoria Beckham, and I found this powerful. "It breaks my heart to think about these kids living somewhere in my house with no hope for a happy future. Who knows if they even have food to eat?" Julie, according to your group's website, a staggering number of STARS children are being exploited growing up without parents.
Right.
This is the Onion News Network.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment, it gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial on in here toll free and join the show. Bring up whatever you want to discuss. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
I want to tell you about the My Pillow. It is a great pillow, perhaps maybe the best pillow you will ever use. You have very low risk to try out the My Pillow. There's a 60-day money-back guarantee, so very little to lose by going to MyPillow.com. Use promo code FTL, and that will get you 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price, and you'll get free shipping on all your orders using promo code FTL at MyPillow.com. And for whatever reason, if you don't like the MyPillow, you ship it back to them, and they'll give you your purchase price back to you. Again, it's MyPillow.com with code FTL, like Free Talk Live. We're going back to the phones, and apparently there was a switch that needed to be thrown on our studio side in Minneapolis. So let's go back to Matthew. We're going to try him again. Can you hear us this time, Matthew?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Excellent. All right, go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, actually, this was just something I know, that if Milo Yiannopoulos is a racist, he's a really weird one because he's married to a black guy.
Okay.
I think he's okay with blacks, but their big claim to fame is he's an anti-Semite.
Okay, yeah, that would be weird too because his mother is Jewish.
Well, he could be a self-hating Jew.
Yes, these exist.
I would think more probably than not, it's just journalists being triggered by somebody who they don't like. He is a nationalist.
Well, he did call for them to be murdered. I mean, that's a little different than actually just, saying something that's offensive or triggering or whatever. I mean,
right, this article referred to him as a nationalist. It did not refer to him as a racist. It says that he's linked to Breitbart, which is known to be sympathetic to white supremacists and neo-Nazis.
I haven't seen that on Breitbart. It would be very strange for them to be sympathetic to white supremacists and neo-Nazis, especially as many Jews as write for Breitbart. But there's another question I have to ask. If the Nazi Party was a German Socialist Workers' Party, how the heck can you have an American Nazi?
They would be socialists in America.
It's cultural appropriation.
With skinheads?
They stole it.
There you go. We're stealing the German culture.
Yep.
You want to know the difference between communism, socialism, and Nazism? Nobody's ever said that real Nazism has not been tried.
There we go. All right. That's a good point. I had never thought of that. That's brilliant, Darryl.
Matthew, anything else you want to share? Go ahead.
No, that's about it. But I do know why Darryl pretends to know nothing about Star Trek. I figured it out.
Star Wars or Star Trek? Or both?
Star Trek.
Darryl, do you know about
both.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
I'm aware that they exist. I could probably name some characters, but I've never watched either of the things.
That's because you just pretend to, because you're actually a spy from planet Vulcan.
Vulcan?
Who has ears?
No, Darryl's not. Daryl is too emotional. He can never be a Vulcan.
Right, but no, I've got the big ears. Ha ha ha.
They were bobbed. You can't fool me.
Thanks for the call, Matthew. I appreciate it.
The difference between Trek and Star Wars is Trek is what could be.
Isn't Trek more commie?
No. Star Trek is in the future. Star Wars is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Trek is what could be if you have a good government. Wars is what actually happens when bad governments, empires take over and they enslave everybody. Trek is much more science fiction than Wars is much more. Even though Wars has magic and crap, space wizards, it's much more reasonable in my book.
What's your favorite? You like the Star Wars or the Star Trek?
I like science fiction and fantasy.
So you prefer Star Trek?
No, I
prefer Star Wars.
Crap. It's hard.
Okay.
I like science fiction and fantasy are my favorite genres, and I'll watch both, and I have watched both. But Trek is just over the top for me. It can't you can't have Trek unless we as human beings evolve to a different level. There's no way Trek would ever work, ever, because you can't. These guys are just taking orders. They're just out there, meeting new people, and they're trying to fix things and fix all the errors of the galaxy, and then they're not being paid to do it. They don't even have credits to buy stuff with. I mean, how the hell does all this work?
Well, that's because they got the machines that make everything.
They've got the replicators.
Yeah, but who fixes the machines?
Hold on.
Hold on. Who pays the guy to fix the machine?
No. There's not a guy that fixes the machine. The machine fixes itself because it's an AI and it's able to replicate what it needs to fix itself.
And no, this is all bull. No,
not if it's broken.
All bullcrap. And the one culture who actually has it right are demonized. The Ferengi.
Yeah.
They're ugly. They're obnoxious.
Well, wasn't Roddenberry a commie?
Pretty much, yeah. Socialist at least.
So, that's what I understand. I'm not a big fan necessarily of either series, but I've certainly seen my share of it.
But he was also an optimist, and he was
an optimistic communist. Well,
he was trying to portray what he thought the future could be if people would just get along and stop killing each other.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yep.
I mean, even that doesn't happen in Star Trek. If
people
would stop killing each other, there'd be no conflict in the show, and it'd be boring, right? You got to have the Klingons trying to kill the Starfleet, and you got to have the Borg trying to kill the Starfleet.
And that's where Paul Krugman comes in, where he's like the best thing.
Paul Krugman wasn't in Star Trek Wars.
listen. I'm going to science fiction. He said, if we really want to fix everything, what we need is a nice alien invasion to bring us all together.
That's what happens in the Independence Day movies.
And that's what keeps Trek together. They are all fighting these, the Borg or the whoever who are coming to take humanity, kill and destroy humanity.
I did actually watch the Independence Day sequel. I finally watched that one. Did you know they came out with a sequel?
I didn't even know.
Yeah, they brought Jeff Goldblum back and brought Randy Quaid back.
Is Will Smith back? Oh, Randy Quaid, the crazy person?
The crazy guy, yeah. He's back. Will Smith appears in photographic form, but not video form. I don't want to spoil it for you.
All right, well, I'll definitely watch it. I'm not going to, hold my breath or anything.
It's just one of those popcorn, summer popcorn flicks. It's not going to, strike any new territory or anything like that.
Oh, but the older I get, the harder it becomes to strike new territory.
Is Will Smith a hologram?
No.
Does he get on stage and he's doing
Jeff Goldblum? You're our only hope.
No, that'd be pretty funny. And I haven't seen the new Jurassic Park yet either.
I'll hold my breath on that one too.
What do you mean?
I'm not waiting. I'm not gonna go to the movies and watch it.
You're not gonna go see it in the theater. So
I might even download it.
There is this thing called torrents.
That's illegal.
That's what I just said.
That's illegal, Darryl.
No, stop. Because I actually try to through Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that. I actually try to give my money to these organizations, unless it's something like Last Jedi, and then I'll download it. Solo, I'm going to download it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give Lucasfilm my money.
I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was better than Star Trek or Star Wars 8.
Says the guy who's sitting on like 6 movie tickets.
What?
I keep winning them on the trivia in the morning.
Oh, you're sitting on 6 movie tickets.
It's like, why not? But it's in Brattleboro.
You're too cheap to actually drive to
it's
use
in
your free movie
Brattleboro.
ticket. That's true.
It's almost 20 miles away.
All right, there's more coming up here. The North Dakota town where white supremacists have been moving in. And now the town mayor is saying he wants to dissolve the town.
Good luck with that.
To prevent the white supremacists from taking it over. It's an interesting approach. We'll tell you about it coming up here in moments. 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can join us on the radio here and bring up what you want. This is Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at byln.co. That's byln.co.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio where you can take control of the airwaves here. Toll-free number 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, at Skype username lrn.fm. You want to save big time on your purchases at Amazon, just head on over to saveitpurse.com. I was just on there last week, ordered some two-way radios, and I think I put them in at like 25% off. I have to pull it up and see. But you can decide what kind of discount you want to get on the things that you want to buy. So if you're in a rush to get something, if you set it at like 20%, usually somebody's going to grab it within the first day, usually within a few hours of you putting it on saveitpurse.com. So what you do is you go to Amazon, you figure out the items you want, you can add them to a wish list, and then you can import the wish list into saveitpurse.com, or you can just drop the item directly in the URL for the item directly into Save It Purse and just order it directly that way. If you want, you can go as low as 5% if you're in a super, super rush, and then Save It Purse will just take care of it for you and take care of it and order it and send it to you. But usually what happens is if you put it at like 10 or 20 or 30%, and you can have 25, you can have whatever percentage in there that you want. You decide the percentage. What happens is your Bitcoins, you have to have Bitcoin to get these discounts, or Bitcoin Cash or other cryptocurrencies. But you've got to have cryptocurrency. Your crypto goes into a marketplace where people who really want to buy crypto are willing to pay 20% on top of the price of, let's say, a Bitcoin in order to get the crypto. They will buy the thing you want for you on Amazon, have it shipped to you, where Conan may be your delivery man if you live in the Keene, New Hampshire area.
If it's a book, I might even have it in my studio. I'll ship it out, and then maybe I'll deliver it.
I don't know if you can get the used items through Save It Purse.
I do sell new books.
Okay, yeah, I've never looked to see if you can order a used item through Save It Purse. I suspect you can't, because I think it's only the fulfilled by Amazon products that qualify.
No, I think I've had things that were not shipped by Amazon.
Really? Okay.
That I've gotten through.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it was used though.
Right. Well,
I didn't say that it was used. I said it wasn't shipped from Amazon. Like it was shipped from a third party.
Third party.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting, because I'm not sure. Sometimes there are some things on Amazon that just won't work through Save It Purse. But for the most part, if it's an Amazon Prime item, it's going to work. If it's one of the free Super Saver shipping items, if it's fulfilled by Amazon, it's definitely going to work. And it's awesome. You decide the price. So, for instance, my most recent order, you can go back and you can look at all your orders and see, what you got. 20% off. So I saved 20% on 5 different radios that I ordered. I ordered a box of 5 radios and knocked 20% off the cost. So it brought down the price from like $28 to like 22 or something like that. So it was pretty sweet. SaveItPurse.com, SaveATPurse.com. Get on over there and get the stuff that you need or the stuff that you want. So like things that you don't need urgently, like right now I've got something on there for 33% off. I don't need it tomorrow. I don't need it next week. In fact, it's been sitting there a week. Nobody snatched it up yet. So if you want it to go quickly, shoot for like 20%. If you aren't in a rush, then go for the max. See if you can get it. You can always adjust it down later if you decide you want to increase the speed at which it arrives. So once again, SaveATPurse.com. As we continue here, going to share a story with you from North Dakota. This is coming from Idaho Statesman about Leith, or maybe it's Leith, L-E-I-T-H. Let's call it Leith. Leith, North Dakota. Ryan Schock fears the past is about to rear its ugly head in his town of tiny Leith in south-central North Dakota. And as mayor of the 18 or so people who live there, he wants none of it. 5 years ago, Leith made national headlines in the New York Times, USA Today, and elsewhere when a man named Craig Cobb began buying up lots around town and inviting his fellow white supremacists to move in. His plan, to turn Leith into a white enclave. The town, including Mayor Schock, who was mayor at that time, fought back and Cobb ultimately failed. But during city elections on June 12th, 2 people who reportedly moved to town when Cobb asked like-minded folks to move there won seats on the city council via write-in votes, according to the Bismarck Tribune. Now, Schock is determined to abolish the town government for fear that the new city council members will bring more of Cobb's drama to town. Quote, "We have to dissolve the town because that idiot Cobb showed up," Schock told the Tribune. "He wanted control of it, and now he can't have it."
So one thing that's interesting, and as soon as you mentioned this guy's name, Craig Cobb, I did a search here, and he's the guy that he went on some daytime TV show and had a DNA test done. Because he wanted to prove how genetically superior he was, and his results came up as 86% European, 14% Sub-Saharan African. To which he responded, "That's just statistical noise."
Now Schock is determined to dissolve the town, doing away with the city council. He says is not wiping Leith off the map. Told an interview at KFYR in Bismarck, adding the idea was a long time in coming. He says Leith is always going to be here. The Leith signs are always going to be there. It's just not going to have a council and a mayor anymore if this resolution goes through. The newly elected council members Michael Benix and Debbie Nelson denied to KFYR that they are Cobb sympathizers. Benix, the Tribune reported, bought property in town from Cobb and moved to Leith about the same time as Cobb put out the call for other supremacists to help take over the town and fly Nazi flags. Nelson told, this is Debbie Nelson, she told KFYR, quote, "We were plain people when we lived in Wisconsin, and we're plain workers here. There's nothing special about us. We don't belong to any clubs, any organizations." Banks told the TV station, "Not a political party, not so here. We're just trying to help the city." Leith's town officials first noted that Cobb was quickly buying abandoned properties in the town in April of 2012, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which reported that Cobb bought more than a dozen lots for a few $100s each, mostly from owners who lived elsewhere. The human rights watchdog group wrote at the time, quote, "Cobb's endgame is clear. Last year on the white supremacist online forum Vanguard News Network, Cobb announced his intentions to build an all-white bastion of racists in North Dakota, quote, post-haste," unquote. The grandiose plan ends with white supremacists and neo-Nazis taking over the county government, and he has even said he hopes to rename Leith Cobbsville. Cobb, who is 66, recently finished serving 4 years of probation for, quote, "terrorizing residents of Leith in 2013, unquote, and now lives in Sherwood, North Dakota, according to KFGO in Fargo. So apparently he doesn't even live in the town in which he wanted people to move to. It's unclear what his plans are now, reported the Grand Forks Herald, which tried unsuccessfully last month to contact him. The mayor of Sherwood told the Herald that since Cobb moved there in mid-2014, things have been, quote, "pretty uneventful," unquote. Schock told the Herald that the same thing about life in Leith post-Cobb. He said, "Things have been pretty quiet, and I'd just as soon kind of leave it that way," the mayor told the Herald. He also told the Tribune he fears the election of Banks and Nelson, who live together, will reopen old wounds. For all he knows, he told the paper, the two might make great council representatives, but he said he's tired of being stuck in the middle of this drama. Last week, the Tribune reports the mayor walked from door to door in town and collected 12 signatures for a petition to dissolve the town's government. The plan is to turn over Leith's governance to the county. Residents will vote on July 23rd on whether to let the county take over their government.
You know, anyone who has seen the documentary Wild Wild Country, which I highly recommend, it's on Netflix right now. It's about it's about Rajneeshpuram.
Is this
this is the Colorado cult that moved into Antelope?
Was this Oregon or Colorado?
I believe it
Oregon.
was Oregon.
This was the thing where Chris Reitman, who's our Thursday night co-host, lived near there, right?
Yes.
And he was sort of intimately
And apparently
familiar with
there's a documentary about it, which is why everybody's been talking about it over the last couple of months.
Yeah, it's about 5 episodes. And if you are into seasteading or moving to some place and taking over the community and moving all your local your buddies, watch this documentary and see what to do and what not to do. And yeah, this is exactly the same thing happened where the city council tried to dissolve the town.
And did they?
No, they didn't have enough votes. Enough of these Rajneeshi moved.
They'd moved in.
They were able to prevent it from happening. They had them on. They had these guys on the city council and whatnot. They made the mistake. This is a big thing, and this is something I saw here in Keene. They started inviting riffraff that weren't actually a part of the cult, but were just votes.
There's more coming up here. That was a mistake?
It was a big mistake. Big mistake.
All right, more coming up here in moments. 8:55, 450, free like freedom. I want to hear a little bit more about that on the way. And this is Free Talk Live.
Free like freedom. I want to hear a little bit more about that on the way. And this is Free Talk Live. 8:55, 450, free like freedom. I want to hear a little bit more about that on the way. And this is Free Talk Live. 8:55, 450, free like freedom. I want to hear a little bit more about that on the way. And this is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
With uncertain times in the United States, it's only prudent to consider storing precious metals in a safe place outside our borders. At Miles Franklin, we have done just that for you. Partnered with the most respected storage company in the industry, Miles Franklin is proud to offer the only fully insured private safe deposit box program in North America, held in Vancouver and Toronto. Send us your previously purchased precious metals or have one of our brokers help you purchase something new. Questions? Please call one of our experienced brokers at 866-485-4346. Solid foundational storage, partnered with the most respected name in security. Maintaining an A-plus Better Business Bureau rating and residing in Minnesota, the only state in America that regulates the precious metals industry, making doing business in precious metals with Miles Franklin the safest choice. Call us at 866-485-4346. Again, that's 866-485-4346. Miles Franklin Limited, a name you can trust.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us here. Bring up whatever you want in the studio. It's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
And don't forget, we've got Skype. You can Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. There's also our Discord on-air call-in line room where you can jump in there and you'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us. We are going to get back into the story here about the North Dakotan town that is possibly going to abolish itself. Coming up on a ballot vote on July 23rd to decide to get rid of the town of Leith, North Dakota, which has been targeted by a group of white supremacists, a very small group, but a group nonetheless of white supremacists who've been coming in there to try to take the town over. And basically the mayor is saying, let's just get rid of the town government, and then they can't take us over.
Yep.
So we'll continue here with your calls and thoughts. Sarah is on the line in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes. So this year, New Mexico, we're the 50th. We're like the very last one in the child well-being.
Ooh.
So last year we were actually 49th. I think it was Mississippi that beat us to it. So
now, how do they
number
rate
one
that?
now.
How do they determine what child well-being means?
Well, there's a I forgot the name of it. There's a organization that does the rating. Like 29% of the high school kids, they dropped out.
Kids Count Data Center, a project of the Annie Casey Foundation.
All right.
Yeah,
So they're looking at high school dropouts and I imagine some other factors.
They look at economic well-being, and then they have several subcategories of that. Education, several subcategories of that, including but not limited to 4th grade reading and 8th grade math. Health, several subcategories, and then family and community and several subcategories of that.
Sarah, why does your state hate kids so much? Do you hate kids?
Well, you know what? I think we love children, but you know what? I blame the fact that we got rid of our red light cameras for 9 years. We had that election.
Red light cameras is not on this list, Sarah.
Yeah, they're not taking that into
Here,
consideration.
let me actually read the entire thing.
Yeah, but Darryl, if the kids are afraid to cross the street to get to the school on the other side,
crossing the street is not on the list.
I know,
economic well-being. Which is both a larger category and a subcategory. The number of children in poverty, children living in families where no parent has a full-time year-round employment, children in households that spend more than 30% of their income on housing, and teens aged 16 to 19 not attending school or working. Under education, they have education rank, young children not in school, 4th grade reading achievement, 8th grade math achievement, high school students not graduating on time. Under health rank, low birth weight babies, children without health insurance, child and teen death rate. Teenagers 12 to 17 who have abused alcohol or drugs in the previous year. Under family and community, there's a family and community rank that also includes children in single-parent families, children in household heads' educational attainment, or rather children by household heads' educational attainment, children living in areas of concentrated poverty, and total teen birth rate.
No red light cameras.
My point is that we have very bad public safety. Our intersections, our streets, we're number one in pedestrian and bicycle fatality.
Yeah, we know what your point is, but your point is immaterial to the study that you cited at the beginning of the call. So the statistic you cited has nothing to do with red light cameras. Does it have the chart, Darryl, as far as what the top states are? Because I've heard that New Hampshire is a really good state to raise
like 3 or something
children. It depends on which study you look at, but New Hampshire is usually like 1, 2, or 3. It's like up there and as a very good place for families.
On all of the studies.
Right, it's a very good place for families.
Except for heroin.
And
I'm trying to find...
The point I wanted to bring up about that, Sarah, for you, is that New Hampshire has no red light cameras whatsoever.
In fact, the state right below us...
also is like the safest, you have the highest safety pedestrians. You're rated number one.
Whoa, that doesn't jive with your viewpoint. You just gave me information saying that I did not have. You said New Hampshire is the safest state for pedestrians. You constantly get on the air with us and claim that pedestrians would be safer if there were more red light cameras. But the fact that New Hampshire has 0 red light cameras, does that faze you at all? Can you understand that red light cameras have nothing to do with pedestrian safety?
Oh, you know what? Well, you got other laws that the drivers behave better.
No seatbelt laws, no helmet laws.
Right, you don't have to wear a helmet. You don't have to wear a seatbelt.
You don't have to have car insurance.
There's no speed cameras here in New Hampshire.
Oh, you know what? People here, New Mexico, if they have no red light cameras, they just run people over, run the same person over 2 times.
So are you suggesting that
going,
people in New Mexico are different from the people in New Hampshire? New Hampshire?
I want to move the new camera.
Well, of course, because you guys have different laws. Over here, they traffic women, they tempt out women, they beat and murder
Iowa?
women.
New Hampshire. Number 2, Massachusetts. Number 3, New Jersey. Number 4, Minnesota. Number 5, Iowa.
Wow.
I'm looking at different
Sarah,
statistics here, Daryl.
I'm sorry.
I'm looking at the 2018 numbers.
But the statistics do not bear out anything that you're saying here. And the people in New Mexico...
If you have a very, very bad public safety, it becomes a very dangerous place. Like Tesla, they went to Nevada. A safer city. The businesses don't want to come here. These people don't want to move here. And
Nevada's 47th on this list, by the way.
Thanks for the call tonight, Sarah. I'm sorry, you just don't have a point as much as you want to. Thank you.
Alaska, which was another state that could have been the destination state for the Free State Project, is 46th on the list.
Of the family state?
On this kid count.
Okay.
Interesting. Arizona, which is right next door to New Mexico, is 45th.
New Hampshire was a great choice. I mean, there's so many different reasons why New Hampshire was chosen as the destination for the Liberty migration, this New Hampshire freedom migration that's been going on here for a long time. If you want, you can watch 101 reasons why New Hampshire is the best place for libertarians, voluntarists, liberty-loving anarchists. If you care about freedom, you need to make a plan to get up here and move to New Hampshire and then join the fun. There's a lot of really cool activism that's happening up here, whether it be political or cryptocurrency, or there's been a lot of historic civil disobedience too. There's been more liberty-oriented activism happening in New Hampshire than I think probably the rest of all of the other states combined. I mean, I'm sorry. Good luck, Libertarian Party, with whatever it is you're trying to do. I know you're going to their convention here in a matter of hours. Darryl, you'll be leaving on Thursday, late Thursday, and
1 o'clock Friday morning.
Yeah,
so in just over a day.
And basically you'll be gone for several days as you and a bunch of others desperately try to wrest control of the Libertarian Party from the hands of those people who've been basically debasing its message of peace and principle over the years. I wish you the best on that.
Advocating for NOTA for LNC chair and voting for Star Child for everything else.
So, NOTA meaning none of the above.
Correct.
So you'll be getting on stage and actually advocating for that?
Yes.
Basically? Okay. All right.
That's the plan.
What happens if NOTA wins?
So if NOTA wins, then there's another election for chair, but none of the candidates that ran in the initial election
are allowed to
run.
Interesting.
So you're saying that's how bad this election is. You're saying that everybody who's running for the chairman of the National Libertarian Party are so bad that no one should be elected into that position. That's your position.
None of the people that are currently running.
How many of them are there?
I think there are either 4 or 5. One guy keeps dropping out and jumping back in, so I don't know if he's running today, whether he'll be running on Sunday.
Is there an incumbent?
There is.
And he's trying to get back in?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's how bad it is. And the Libertarian Party is just a pathetic shadow of what it once was and what it could still be, but it hasn't been.
Yeah,
Party
there are a couple of changes to the platform that I'm hoping to see go through. One of them is a slight tweak to the immigration plank, where right now there's some language that is in there to appease the bordertarians. I'm hoping to strike that sentence.
All right. Well, let us know if anything interesting happens, Darryl. You're always welcome to call in from the floor.
If there's anything interesting that happens, I will definitely call in.
And last time at their convention, there was the guy, James Weeks, who did a striptease on stage, which I thought was pretty hilarious.
He's running for vice chair.
That was the best thing. So wait, you're not going to endorse him for vice chair?
No, because I don't know if he's seriously running or if he's just
all the
planning
better
to get naked
Put somebody
again.
in there who's going to troll him. I think I support that.
Anybody trolling libertarians, they always include Weeks in their spoofs, in their videos. He's always front and center.
Hey, we're out of time for tonight.
Underwear.
You can join us tomorrow night online. In the meantime, head over to freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Conan, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, June 27th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.20 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,257 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $16, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,093. Antiwar.com reports a senior official with the U.S. State Department says that they have been warning countries around the world, particularly U.S. allies, to stop all purchases of Iranian oil. They say purchases must end by November, and the U.S. is unlikely to offer any further exemptions to allow any more purchases. The official confirmed, "We are asking them to go to zero." He said China and India, two major customers of Iranian oil, are among those the U.S. has warned. The U.S. withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal last month and intends to again ban oil purchases. Yet the Iran deal itself is still intact without the U.S. China is even a signatory to that deal and almost certainly will not agree to stop buying Iranian oil just because the U.S. tells them they can't. This is doubly true because the remaining signatories are trying to save the deal. Iran has reportedly already met with Chinese customers to ask them to keep buying oil, and while they haven't gotten any guarantees, China appears to have plenty of justification to continue doing so. Iran has also requested EU nations commit to buying oil from them as part of the deal to remain in the nuclear pact. For most nations, this will likely depend chiefly on the economic cost of ending Iran trade compared to what the U.S. might do to them. So long as the nuclear deal remains in place, any U.S. attempt to punish other countries will likely lead to backlash and limit the U.S. ability to isolate anyone. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Supreme Court narrowly ruled Tuesday to uphold President Donald Trump's travel ban on migrants and refugees from several Muslim-majority countries. In a 5-4 decision along partisan lines, the justices reversed a series of lower court decisions that struck down the ban as illegal, giving the White House its first high court victory on the merits of a presidential initiative. Trump tweeted, "Supreme Court upholds Trump travel ban. Wow." Trump also tweeted, "In this era of worldwide terrorism and extremist movements bent on harming innocent civilians, we must must properly vet those coming into our country. This ruling is also a moment of profound vindication following months of hysterical commentary from the media and Democratic politicians who refuse to do what it takes to secure our border and our country. More than 150 million people in Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen are affected by the ruling. Chad, also a Muslim-majority nation, was removed from the list in April. North Korea and Venezuela, while part of the executive order, are not part of the legal battle. Chief Justice John Roberts argued that the president has ample power to impose entry restrictions and insists the ban was within the scope of Trump's power. He also rejected claims that it has an anti-Muslim bias. Roberts wrote for the majority, "The text says nothing about religion." Plaintiffs and the dissent nonetheless emphasized that 5 of the 7 nations currently included in the proclamation have Muslim-majority populations, adding, "Yet that fact alone does not support an inference of religious hostility, given that the policy covers just 8% of the world's Muslim population and is limited to countries that were previously designated by Congress or prior administrations as posing national security risks." Roberts was joined in the majority by Justices Anthony Kennedy, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch. Justice Sonia Sotomayor quoted Trump's own words in her dissent, saying his travel ban is merely a version of the Muslim ban he proposed during the campaign. Sotomayor wrote, "The court's decision leaves undisturbed a policy first advertised openly and unequivocally as a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States, because the policy now masquerades behind a facade of national security concerns," adding, "But this repackaging does little to cleanse presidential proclamation of the appearance of discrimination that the president's words have created. A reasonable observer would conclude that the proclamation was motivated by anti-Muslim animus." Joined by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in her dissent, Sotomayor said the panel's conservative justices ignored the facts, misconstrued legal precedent, and turned a blind eye to the pain and suffering that the ruling puts on countless families and individuals, many of whom are United States citizens. Justices Stephen Breyer and Elena Kagan were the court's 2 other dissenters. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Officials for the Centers for Disease Contraction and Preservation held a press conference urging all Americans to suck on as many doorknobs as possible.
This flu season, the Center for Disease Contraction is recommending that all Americans, regardless of age or health condition, find a doorknob in a high-traffic area, wrap their mouths around it, and vigorously lick and suck it until they contract an illness. We recommend sucking doorknobs covered in a visible film of human hand grease. But the fact is, sucking on any doorknob can increase the likelihood of exposing yourself and your family to deadly pathogens by as much as 450%.
An instructional video released on the CDC's website showcases the proper method for sucking doorknobs, while also providing tips for projecting all sneezes and coughs outward, sharing used Kleenexes and toilet paper with as many people as possible, eating 3 meals a day from local garbage cans, and dozens of other easy bacteria-spreading activities.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA beautiful studios